a Kryptonian who started his cultivation journey through the multiverse. Hey, fanfic family. So glad to see you here again to continue this incredible adventure. As always, kindly remember, this story is 100% fiction. So don't go looking for dimensional portals in your closet. All rights to this fantastic novel belong to the original author. We're just your humble narrators of epic tales. Are you enjoying the fanfic? Show it by subscribing to our YouTube channel and dropping us a like. And if you're impatient for more exclusive content, our Patreon is your happy place. Chapter 1. Brain Storage. This article explains in advance. 1. The system is similar to AI, so it rarely appears. It is basically a tool. Its role is to draw prizes and travel through time. It also has some functions of AI too. There are many heroines, but no studs. 3. When I start to go to other worlds later, I will take my wives with me. 4. The length of the first world mortal may be a bit long, and it is closer to the anime mortals, and there are also some changes. 5. The writing is average. It is also the first time I write a book, please forgive me. China's city at night. Chen Tianqi dragged his tired body back home after working 996. Chen Tianqi lay on the sofa, took out his mobile phone and clicked on the group of erotic pictures, browsing through the erotic pictures of the second dimension. Suddenly, a mud truck broke through the wall and roared out. The front of the car deformed, stretched out his fists, rushed towards Chen Tianqi at high speed, and gave him a big slap. Chen Tianqi looked at it in astonishment, only to see a beam of dazzling headlights shining over, followed by a giant slap. An indescribable fear and disbelief suddenly surged in his heart. Time seemed to freeze at this moment, but his body could not react in time. He subconsciously complained in his heart, "Fuck, this is the 13th floor." The distance between the mud truck and Chen Tianqi quickly shortened, and with a loud bang, everything fell into darkness. The driver took out a list, ticked it, and said calmly, "You get off work so late, so I have to work overtime to take you." Chen Tianqi felt as if he was falling rapidly, surrounded by endless emptiness and coldness. His consciousness was blurred with pain and confusion. He felt like he was being pulled by some invisible force, traveling through the cracks of time and space, which filled his heart with fear and curiosity. Just when he thought he would be immersed in this darkness forever, a bright light suddenly appeared and surrounded him. In the light, he felt a warm and powerful energy surging in his body. It was a brand new vitality awakening in him. When the light gradually dissipated, Chen Tianqi opened his eyes and found himself lying in a strange film device, which was full of unknown technology and a cold metallic smell. Chen Tianqi tried to move his body, but found that he was in a body of water, and an abnormal gravity was pressing on him, making it difficult for him to breathe. Am I traveling through time? The dump truck hit me from the 13th floor. It's too outrageous. Can't you be a little gentle? And this place is so uncomfortable. Before he could understand the environment he was in, he felt a violent vibration from the outside world, as if the whole world was collapsing. Ding, the assistant who travels through the heavens and the worlds is here to serve you. Chen Tianqi was overjoyed. The golden finger is here, I'm going to turn over. System, please tell me where this is. Ding, the assistant is at your service. It has been detected that you are now in the nursery of Krypton. Chen Tianqi was overjoyed. I am a Kryptonian. Just when I was imagining becoming a native of my country and not eating beef, I heard the system say ding, huge energy fluctuations on Krypton have been detected, and it is speculated that Krypton has entered the countdown to destruction. Chen Tianqi was dumbfounded, and his heart was filled with anger. Shit. I'm going to be shipped to Krypton right from the start? That dump truck is so unreliable, I want to complain to him. Ding, the owner's life is in danger of death. It is recommended to activate the crossing function. Crossing function? What other functions do you have in the system? Chen Tianqi was delighted. Ding. Currently unlocked functions include time travel and lottery function. Good. A planet that was once so glorious is now facing an irreversible fate, complete destruction. The sky of Krypton was covered with an ominous red light, which was a precursor to the instability of the planet's core and the impending explosion. The streets were empty, and there was occasionally the sound of buildings collapsing due to crustal movement in the distance, mixed with the sound of alarms, forming a doomsday tragedy. Chen Tianqi was still studying the system functions, and when he heard the voices coming from outside, he felt nervous. Is the system and lottery function related to the location? Ding. Please explore the lottery function yourself. There is currently one free lottery opportunity. Okay, You want to play like this, right? Chen Tianqi looked at the lottery mechanism that seemed to be poisoned, speechless. At this time, there was another loud noise outside, accompanied by a shock wave that shook the nursery. Quick, system, draw the lottery and activate the time travel function. Chen Tianqi suddenly felt nervous. Ding, get the reward, Kryptonian Technology Encyclopedia 3, 2, 1, the time travel function is activated. Just when Chen Tianqi wanted to see what was in this technology encyclopedia, his consciousness was enveloped by a white light, and he was speechless in his heart. Fuck, you old six. At the moment when the system activated the crossing, the core of Krypton finally couldn't bear the internal pressure and exploded. Huge energy ripples spread around the universe, and the civilization and history of Krypton were wiped out at this moment. A spaceship from Krypton also flew to the galaxy where a blue planet was located. But at this moment of destruction, the space around Chen Tianqi was distorted, and he was wrapped in a beam of light. Following the guidance of the system, he traveled through time and space to an unknown world. When Chen Tianqi was wrapped in that beam of light and passed through the cracks in time and space, his consciousness fell into a vague and chaotic state. Surrounded by rotating light and constantly changing colors, it seemed that each color represented a different world and destiny. There was no concept of time in this journey of crossing. Chen Tianqi felt that he was both a moment and eternity. Finally, the light and color began to weaken, and the space around him gradually stabilized. Chen Tianqi he felt himself surrounded by soft light, warm and at ease. His body landed gently on the soft ground. The air here was full of freshness and vitality, which formed a sharp contrast with the coldness of Krypton and the bright sunshine of the world of immortal cultivation. Chen Tianqi slowly opened his eyes and found himself lying on a green meadow, surrounded by lush trees and rolling mountains in the distance. The sky was a bright blue, with a few white clouds floating leisurely occasionally. He tried to sit up and felt that the strength in his body seemed to be more abundant than when he was on Krypton. And the sun in this world also made him feel comfortable and natural. Wook Maji, you are indeed a Kryptonian. You feel comfortable when you see the sun system. Stop playing dead. Tell me which world this is. Ding, Master, the system does not know which world this is. You need to explore it yourself. Oh my god, you are so useless. You can draw a lottery a new world. Chen Tianqi was speechless. Ding, come to the new world and get a chance to draw a lottery. Chen Tianqi rubbed his hands and raised his hands. The draw is on. Ding, get reward, spiritual roots? Is this a world of immortal cultivation? Just then, a surprised cry interrupted his thoughts. Chen Tianqi turned his head and saw several people in ancient costumes flying from the woods not far away. They were obviously shocked by Chen Tianqi's appearance, whispering to each other, their eyes full of curiosity and vigilance. Isn't this a place where auspicious light descends? How come a little baby appeared here? A thin young man in a yellow robe said auspicious light descended from the sky. Could it be that this auspicious light is this little baby? The leader was a skinny old man who wore an exquisite Taoist robe and had a rather exquisite-looking short sword hanging from his waist. His eyebrows revealed an extraordinary temperament, and it was obvious that he had a high status among this group of people. The old man walked cautiously in front of Chen Tianqi and muttered to himself. Chen Tianqi tried to answer in his own language, but soon he found that as his words wow, Chen Tianqi found that he couldn't speak now. The old man stroked his beard and pondered for a moment. Then he turned around and said to the tribesman, this little kid fell from the sky, he must be extraordinary. Let's take him back to the Chen family and see what the ancestor of the family says. Chen Tianqi had no choice but to follow the old man and his companions. They walked through the woods and came to a valley surrounded by spiritual energy. This is the home of the Chen family. The ancient buildings are located in the valley, surrounded by waterfalls and streams. The scenery is quiet and beautiful. The old man held Chen Tianqi to meet the ancestor of the Chen family. The ancestor of the Chen family sat upright on the bluestone chair and opened his eyes. I already know what happened. Come here and let me see this little baby. The hand of the Chen family ancestor touched the top of Chen Tianqi's head, and Chen Tianqi immediately felt a gas rushing through his body. The hand of the Chen family ancestor also touched his whole body, and Chen Tianqi felt goosebumps in his heart. Shit. This old dang doesn't have any special hobbies. The Chen family's ancestor suddenly laughed and said, ha ha ha, God bless our Huangfeng Valley Chen family, Chen Ming, adopt this kid into the family and raise him well. Even if my lifespan runs out, the Chen family will be safe. Chen Ming looked at the old ancestor's happy look and asked in confusion. Grandpa, what is the origin of this little baby? Chen Ming, I don't know where he came from, but this kid was born not long ago, but his physique is far superior to his peers. The most important thing is that he can actually absorb the essence of the sun in the sun. This must be a special physique. Not to mention the nascent soul, there is a great possibility that he can form a den. If I train him well, I can protect the Chen family after my lifespan is exhausted. Chen Ming was overjoyed, realizing that he had picked up a genius. Chen Ming will definitely live up to the old ancestor's expectations. During the conversation between the two old men, Chen Tianqi heard Huangfeng and immediately realized the Chen family of Huangfeng Valley, Han Laomo. Is this the story of immortals' cultivation to immortality? Chapter 2. The Chen family, one of the three major families in Huangfeng Valley, held the caling ceremony held every 3 years today. The 10-year-old Chen family members stood in neat rows, among which Chen Tianqi's figure was the most eye-catching. He was tall, with a resolute face, a straight nose, and tightly closed lips, showing an unspoken determination and perseverance. Perhaps due to his Kryptonian physique, he was much taller than his peers, with a strong body and a nearly perfect body. Chen Tianqi looked at the old man standing on the caling orb, Chen Ming. Since that day, Chen Ming adopted him, and he has spent 10 years here. Finally, I have waited for this day. If we calculate the time, Han Laomo will also join the Kixuan sect system. Open the panel name, Chen Tianqi sects, male age. 10 spiritual roots, fire, gold bloodline, Kryptonian, civilian template, physique, Kryptonian physique abilities, super strength, super speed, super hearing, super vision, man of steel, bio stance, super breathing, super brain realm, none number of draws. 0 item, Kryptonian technology encyclopedia. Chen Tianqi looked at the panel and wanted to cry. In 10 years, he had not had a chance to draw a lottery. No matter how he tried to use the lottery function, it seemed to have crashed and there was no response at all. But fortunately, I have Kryptonian blood, so I should be able to become an immortal. Chen Tianqi was thinking to himself when he heard Chen Ming shouting in the distance, Chen Tianqi. Chen Tianqi. Chen Tianqi realized it later, walked onto the stage, and slowly placed his hand on the spirit bead. He was calm in his heart. He already knew through the panel that he was a fire and gold dual spirit root. Boom! Suddenly, a burst of burning red light appeared, and then a golden light appeared on the spirit bead. Fire spiritual root and gold spiritual root. Chen Ming and the Chen family ancestor looked at Chen Tianqi in the golden red light. As I expected, he is gifted, although dual spiritual roots are not as good as natural spiritual roots. Knowing that Chen Tianqi has a special physique means that he can at least form a pill, and he can also try his hand at the nascent soul. The Chen family ancestor glanced at Chen Tianqi and found that he was calm. He nodded with satisfaction, and was in a good mood. He waved his right hand. A book, 100 spirit stones, and a cloth bag appeared in front of Chen Tianqi. You will practice in the inner courtyard. Just give 100 spirit stones. You're sending away a beggar. Chen Tianqi looked at this poor man and complained in his heart. But he still didn't dare to neglect it. He took the reward from the ancestor and bowed. After the opening ceremony, in the evening, after Chen Tianqi finished his daily sunbathing, he followed a maid in a white dress to a small courtyard full of spiritual energy. The courtyard was not big, but it had a spirit gathering array. It was exquisite and small, with 3 rooms, a courtyard, and a stone pavilion. Chen Tianqi closed the door, sat cross-legged, and took out the book given by the ancestor. Golden Will Burning Heaven Art. Chen Tianqi glanced at the book in his hand. This was a method for training Qi to Dan, divided into Qi Training Chapter, Foundation Building Chapter, Dan Chapter, and each chapter was divided into 13 levels. For Chen Tianqi, who had both fire and gold spiritual roots, this was a method that Chen Ming asked the ancestor to find specially. This old Deng is not bad. He will take care of the Chen family in the future. Chen Tianqi's face was like a wall, so he took out the spirit stones and placed them around him, spread out the golden wheel burning heaven art, and began to read it. Thanks to the super brain of Kryptonian blood, although he was just a civilian Kryptonian, he still quickly entered the state of cultivation. Time passed, and in the blink of an eye, the sky became darker. After 2 hours, a faint cyclone suddenly appeared in Chen Tianqi's danshan. Successfully guided the Qi into the body, Chen Tianqi was delighted. He was indeed a super brain with extraordinary comprehension. He guided the key into the body in 2 hours. After guiding the key into the body, Chen Tianqi spent the next period of time in seclusion to practice, and stayed indoors. The daily food was also delivered to the house by the maid, which allowed Chen Tianqi to focus on practice. A month later, Chen Tianqi spent 100 spirit stones to successfully practice to the second level of key training. Chen Tianqi also found that the speed of practice would increase when meditating under the sun, especially at noon. This must be the characteristic of Kryptonians and spiritual energy. System: open the panel name, Chen Tianqi sex, male age. 10 spiritual roots, fire, gold bloodline, Kryptonian, civilian template, physique, Kryptonian physique, pure yang body, transforming, abilities, super strength, super speed, super hearing, super vision, man of steel, bio stance, super breathing, super brain realm, key training level 2 number of draws. 1 item, Kryptonian technology encyclopedia. Chen Tianqi looked at the extra number of draws. Does it mean that every time you break through a realm, you will have 1 chance to draw a lottery? And when did a pure yang body appear? Pure yang body? System, come out and explain. Chen Tianqi looked at the extra body type and asked the system in his heart, Ding, Master, according to the test, the spiritual roots and the Kryptonian blood produce a wonderful chemical reaction. In addition, the Master has embarked on the path of cultivation. The combination of spiritual energy and blood promotes the birth of a new physique. Oh shit, could it be what I thought? Ling. Yes, Chen Tianqi imagined that after entering the world of immortal cultivation, he would meet the old monster with wrinkles on his face in the Huangfeng sect, and he would shout like Brother G, let me see you. After all, it is possible to have sex with a man on top of a man. Then can I not have it? Oding, the system doesn't have a delete function. Chen Tianqi's good mood after entering the second level of key training in a month was gone in an instant. He was planning to find a deep mountain forest to hide for decades to get enough sun, like Dachao, and then go out to beat all the people in the world. Ding, I suggest that the Master do not use this strategy. The Master's bloodline is the civilian Kryptonian in the Kryptonian civilization. He was not born with a special template. His various ability values are very mediocre among Kryptonians. And the Master, you must realize that Superman and Kryptonians are 2 species. Chen Tianqi thought about Superman's hanging wall, gritting his teeth in his heart. It seems that I can only develop slowly for now. System, do you know the upper limit of this bloodline? Ding, start scanning the body information and start comparing it with the combat power information of this world. 10 years ago, Chen Tianqi used the system to load all the records about the world of immortal cultivation in the Chen family library. Ding, the test is complete. The upper limit of the bloodline is the peak realm of nascent soul physical cultivation, but the weakness is obvious. The soul is weak, and there is no nascent soul. Not as strong as the soul of a cultivator, it is easy to be attacked and possessed by the soul. Sure enough, although the Kryptonians have a strong physique, their weaknesses are also very obvious, that is, their resistance to soul-type spell attacks is too low. What's more, they are not Supermen, but just ordinary Kryptonians. That's even worse. If they don't cultivate immortals, wouldn't it be like giving a big gift package to the old monster? Chen Tianqi was lucky. Fortunately, he came to the world of cultivating immortals, where he could make up for the shortcomings of Kryptonians. There is also the system's built-in intelligent AI deduction function. As long as you accumulate enough skills, it is no problem to combine the data to deduce new skills with stronger power and higher potential. As well as the system's skill running hang-up function, it is a blessing for lazy people. Very good, I have decided. I will cultivate immortality with technology. I will have boundless power. I will reach the top of the immortal world with my efforts. System, start hanging up. Ding, the technique starts running automatically. The man, no, the boy, who had just said that he would rely on his own efforts, ignored the contempt sent by the system in his mind, pushed open the door and went to the Chen family's sutra pavilion to select a few spells. Here is the difference between Kryptonians and Superman. Superman can be said to be the most special Kryptonian, with almost no upper limit. The reasons are as follows. 1. The center of the multiverse, the source of the concept of superhero, was created by the supreme god of the DC universe. Source, you can understand it as the main monitor, the other side of the supreme god. Asylum 2, the bloodline from the main god of Krypton. Rio 3, the body has a complete set of life books. To put it bluntly, it is a reincarnation of a god, plus the life book. The other Kryptonians are just mortals, far less powerful than Superman, and there is an upper limit. In some American TV series and comics, other Kryptonians will OD and explode into supernovas if they absorb too much yellow-blue star radiation, but Superman will not. Moreover, the reproduction method of Kryptonians has caused a lot of problems in the social structure. Relying on the gene book to give birth to the so-called best newborns is actually solidifying the potential of Kryptonians. This method of selecting gene reproduction, the type of gene template selected, and the type of person the child will be in the future. This is also a lesson learned from the previous major events of Krypton civilization. Limiting potential, of course, also led to the weakening of Krypton. The protagonist is a civilian Kryptonian, equivalent to a screw worker in a factory in reality, with a very low upper limit. Just like a person is limited to only earning tens of thousands of yuan a year, then his highest level in his life may be only 90,000. And another person can earn millions a year after being limited, then you can see the potential gap between the two. So don't argue that Kryptonians are awesome and have unlimited potential. If you don't believe me, go read the comics online and see if there is a great god who jumped out from the lowest level of Krypton. In addition, Kryptonians are easily controlled by their minds, and their magic resistance is much lower than their invincible physical resistance. So the protagonist's civilian version of Kryptonian bloodline is limited to the peak of Yuanying physical cultivation, which is not weak. Yuanying is equivalent to the most powerful nuclear weapon in human beings. You see, the movie version of Superman in Zack Snyder also needs to bask in the sun to recover after being hit by a nuclear bomb, so as an ordinary person in Krypton, he is not weak. Chapter 3. Chen Tianqi had just returned from the sutra library when he heard a soft cry. Chen Tianqi, I saw a young girl in a green dress, skipping towards the opposite door, where a beautiful woman was standing. The charming woman gently stroked Chen Tianqi's hair. Chen Tianqi felt sorry for Chen Tianqi when he was reading A Mortal's Journey to Immortality. For the sake of her family, she fell in love with Senior Brother Lu, but was raped and murdered by Senior Brother Lu. However, she met Han Laomo, a hero, to save her. Unfortunately, Han Laomo was devoted to Taoism, and his heart was not with a beautiful woman. In order to change your bleak future, I have to dedicate myself, Chen Tianqi thought, with a rippling smile on his face. Chen Tianqi came into the house and took out the complete solution of the 5 elements, basic spells, in the sutra library. He began to practice the fire spells recorded on it. 5 days later, the stone pavilion in the courtyard system, start integrating and deducing fire spells ding, start deduction. After 5 days of repeated practice of the 5 basic spells, Chen Tianqi has mastered the fire spells and is ready to let the system integrate them to deduce a more powerful fire spell. In an exquisite attic, the spiritual energy was almost condensed and turned into spiritual mist, entwining the attic. A winding stream flowed through the courtyard, and dozens of level 1 red carp were playing in the stream. A white-clothed girl in the late stage of key training landed on the ground and came to the bottom of the attic. She lowered her head, looking extremely humble, and did not dare to look at the second floor shrouded in spiritual mist. She opened her red lips slightly and said in a delicate voice, "Ancestor." Chen Tianqi broke through the 3rd level of key training in more than a month. As soon as the voice fell, the misty spiritual mist suddenly stopped, and a shadow flew out of the mist. This is true. The Chen family ancestor, wearing green clothes, stood in front of the girl. The huge momentum of the giant on stage made the girl sweat profusely, and she trembled and said, "1,000, absolutely true, good, good, good." The Chen family ancestor's face was full of joy, and he said several good words in succession. He did not expect that the progress would be so fast in just over a month. After a pause, the Chen family ancestor looked deeply at the sky. "You pay close attention to him, I want to know his every move." The Chen family ancestor waved his sleeves and threw a storage bag in front of the girl. "Just tell him to practice well and not to worry about resources. As long as he breaks through the peak of key training before the age of 18, I will reward him handsomely." The girl in white came to the yard where Chen Tianqi was. Suddenly, there was a loud noise when she walked in. She felt uneasy for a moment and walked over quickly. She was relieved to find that Chen Tianqi was gray-faced and fine. Then she handed the storage bag to Chen Tianqi with a smile and said, "This is a reward from the ancestor. Don't let the ancestor down." "Thank you, Sister Yun, Tianqi knows." Chen Tianqi respectfully took the storage bag and watched the girl leave. As the door closed, Chen Tianqi silently said in his heart system. Open the panel name, Chen Tianqi sex, male age. 10 spiritual roots, fire, gold bloodline, Kryptonian, civilian template, physique, Kryptonian physique. Pure yang body skills, super strength, super speed, super hearing, super vision, steel body, biological stance, super breathing, super brain, basic fire spells, fusion intermediate spell, fire dragon bomb realm, key training level 3 number of draws. 1 item, Kryptonian technology encyclopedia. The power of the fusion spell that Chen Tianqi had just deduced in the experimental system was a combination of the transformation method, fireball spell, firebomb spell and other primary spells. It has the characteristics of low consumption, controllability, great power and fast speed. I think this will be a killer move in the key refining period. Thinking of this, Chen Tianqi suddenly felt a burst of joy in his heart. This young master is indeed a man of unparalleled comprehension. System 6. Chen Tianqi sat cross-legged in the room, his consciousness pouring into the storage bag given by the Chen family's ancestor. Bottles of exquisite jade bottles and spirit stones filled the table. A rough scan revealed 100 low-grade spirit stones, 3 bottles of Huangfeng, and 3 bottles of Jinsuan. This is the treatment for being gifted. Let's draw the lottery and see what comes out. Chen Tianqi's mind moved, and the lottery started. Ding! You get a reward, a complete guide to forging magical instruments. Suddenly, Chen Tianqi's mind was filled with the experience of forging various magical instruments. It seems that I can forge my own magic weapon in the future, but cultivation is more important for now. With this in mind, Chen Tianqi raised the corners of his mouth slightly, and stuffed a yellow dragon pill into his mouth. The yellow dragon pill melted in his mouth, turning into surging medicinal power that impacted all parts of his body. Chen Tianqi immediately activated the golden wheel burning heaven technique and slowly absorbed the medicinal power. Chen Tianqi felt that the medicinal power in his body was burning like a raging fire, and his meridians seemed to have turned into rivers, with medicinal power flowing endlessly in them. The golden wheel burning heaven technique is not only a method of cultivation, but also a wonderful method that can perfectly transform medicinal power into one's own cultivation. As time passed, he felt that the spiritual energy in his body was becoming more and more dense, and his cultivation was slowly improving. At this time, Chen Tianqi was completely immersed in the realm of cultivation, and everything in the outside world seemed to have nothing to do with him. Time passed, and the years passed. In the blink of an eye, 2.5 years had passed. I finally reached the 8th level of key training, Chen Tianqi exclaimed. With the strong support of the Chen family's ancestors, resources were continuously supplied. It was amazing that he reached the 8th level of key training at the age of 13, and his training speed far exceeded the talent of the heavenly spirit root. At this time, he suddenly remembered the magic weapon forging encyclopedia in his mind. Chen Tianqi's heart moved, and he decided to start learning how to forge magic weapons. He knew that for immortal cultivators, a good magic weapon or magic treasure could play a decisive role in battle. And in the past 2.5 years, he has obtained a lot of rare materials. Maybe he can combine the Kryptonian technology encyclopedia to inject suitable science and technology into the refining of weapons. And he may become the leader in leading the transformation of the refiners in the world of immortal cultivation. Brother Tianqi. Brother Tianqi. Just as Chen Tianqi was dreaming, there were cries from outside the house. Chen Tianqi exhaled, opened the door and walked out. He saw a girl in a blue and green dress standing in front of the door. She had silver rings on her hands and her snow-white hands were raised. When she saw Chen Tianqi opening the door, a hint of joy suddenly appeared on her delicate face. Brother Tianqi, I have broken through the 4th level of key training. Then the surrounding aura surged, and the cultivation of the 4th level of key training was fully demonstrated. Chen Tianqi was 1 year younger than Chen Tianqi, 12 years old. At the opening ceremony, because both of her parents were cultivators, she had used the spirit beads to explore her aptitude early. Not bad, a little worse than me, keep working hard. Chen Tianqi touched her head and said arrogantly. Brother Tianqi, this is for you. Chen Tianqi's beautiful eyes moved slightly, and she handed over a few books. I heard that you, Brother Tianqi, are collecting materials for refining weapons. You must want to become a refiner. I have a lot of books on refining weapons at home. You can take them and have a look. 12-year-old Chen Tianqi spoke softly and was very cute. Chen Tianqi thought to himself, I'm not a lowly to control, I'm not a lowly to control. Then he took the book and thank you, Sister Kyokian. Although Chen Tianqi didn't need it, it was a token of Lolita's love. How could he let it down? Looking at the books in Chen Tianqi's hands, Chen Kyokian smiled happily, and then jumped away happily. Chen Tianqi looked at the cute Chen Kyokian and smiled in his heart. Since she was adopted in the Chen family, it was natural for him to cultivate feelings with Chen Kyokian from an early age to prevent her from having a miserable ending in the future. He definitely didn't like to play the cultivation game. Chapter 4. In a loft shrouded in spiritual mist, the increasingly arrogant Chen family ancestor said to the maid beside him, give these refining materials and cultivation resources to Tianqi, so that he will not slack off in his cultivation due to his obsession with refining, and strive to break through the peak of key training within 4 years. Yes, ancestor, the maid bowed and left. The Chen family ancestor returned to the second floor and sat cross-legged on the bed. He closed his eyes and thought to himself, this kid's cultivation speed is faster than that of a natural spiritual root. He is indeed a special physique. Even if I consulted all the books, I still don't know what this physique is. His yang energy is soaring to the sky, and his blood is like an ox. Could it be a pure yang body? But why can it absorb the essence of the sun? In any case, my lifespan is coming to an end. The most urgent thing is to lock his heart in the Chen family. As time went by, Chen Tianqi's cultivation continued to deepen. He began to study the complete works of forging magical instruments and the Encyclopedia of Kryptonian technology. These 2 books became his treasures for exploring higher-level forging skills. He not only absorbed the theoretical knowledge in the books, but also let the system combine these knowledge of Kryptonian technology with his own forging practice, and gradually formed a set of unique insights and skills. In the continuous learning and practice, Chen Tianqi has a deeper understanding of the forging of magic instruments and Kryptonian technology. His skills are becoming more and more sophisticated, and he even began to try to create his own new magic instruments. Time flies, and the years pass slowly. 4 years have passed in a hurry. During these 4 years, Chen Tianqi has made significant progress in his training and forging skills. Not only did he successfully advance from the 8th level of key training to the perfect level of key training, but he also made breakthrough achievements in the forging of magic tools. His new magic tools combine the essence of traditional magic tools with the cutting-edge ideas of Kryptonian technology, showing amazing potential and power. In the forging room next to the courtyard, Chen Tianqi looked at a small sword in his hand. Star Phantom Sword. This is the first new killing weapon that Chen Tianqi successfully forged. This sword combines the essence of traditional weapon forging techniques with Kryptonian technology. The sword is light and has an energy core embedded in it. The grade has also reached a top grade weapon. The power can release the attack power of magic weapon level at the critical moment. Although it is only released once, it is combined with scientific and technological techniques and is extremely strong. It will not be damaged by releasing super standard attacks. Instead, as long as the energy core is filled with spirit stones to replenish energy, it can be released again. It seems that with this powerful weapon, cultivators below the Jinden stage will not be afraid anymore. Chen Tianqi was secretly happy, and then he waved his hand, put the small sword into the storage bag, opened the door, and prepared to go to see the ancestor of the Chen family. Brother Tianqi. Brother Tianqi. As soon as Chen Tianqi pushed the door open, he met Chen Kyokian, who was dressed up in a yellow dress. In 4 years, Chen Kyokian had grown from a cute little girl to a beautiful girl with a charming appearance. Brother Tianqi, I have already reached the 10th level of key training. Let's go to the Ascension Conference together. Chen Kyokian took Chen Tianqi's hand and looked at him coquettishly. Chen Tianqi smiled slightly and naturally would not disappoint her expectations. Okay, but I have to go to the ancestor first, Chen Tianqi said lovingly. Then he leaned close to Chen Kyokian's ear and whispered, your outfit today is very much to my taste. After saying that, he touched her head and left, leaving Chen Kyokian blushing. Chen Tianqi came to an attic, stood in front of the attic's formation, took out the sound transmission talisman, and said, Grandmaster, I have reached the peak of key training, and I have come to ask for your permission to participate in the Ascension Conference. In less than an instant stick of time, a figure flew out from the attic, laughing with joy. Chen boy, you really lived up to the expectations of the ancestors. You have strong magic power and a strong body. Your special physique is really amazing. Even without practicing physical exercises, your physique is stronger than that of a foundation-building cultivator. This is all thanks to the ancestors' support. Without the ancestors' strong support, Tianqi would not have achieved what it has today. Chen Tianqi bowed. Young man Chen, there is no need to be modest. I have also come this far, so I naturally know how hard it is to cultivate. You have achieved what you have now in such a short time, and your talent has already surpassed most people in the cultivation world. The ancestor of the Chen family stroked his beard and smiled. I will give you this magic weapon, the Kingayan boat. Although it is a top-grade magic weapon, it has the ability to fly through the clouds and break the wind, which is more than enough to compare with the best magic weapons. The Chen family ancestor took out a small boat and then took out a storage bag. I think you have been working hard on refining for a few years and have become a refiner. Here are some refining resources. You can use them to forge magical instruments. No matter what the grade is, you can sell it to the Chen family at a high price. This is my guarantee to you. Thank you, ancestor. Tianqi has been deeply involved in the art of refining instruments for several years and has become proficient in it. He can refine top-grade instruments. Chen Tianqi took the boat and the storage bag and thanked him very humbly. It seems that you are not only gifted in cultivation, but also outstanding in refining equipment. You and Kyokian should go to the Immortal Ascension Conference and join the Yellow Maple Valley together. The Chen family ancestor stroked his beard and drank tea, and then said after joining the Huangfeng Valley to build the foundation, I will become a Taoist couple with Qiao Jin, and support each other in cultivation. Are you willing? It all depends on the ancestor. Chen Tianqi would naturally not let Chen Kyokian, this little sheep, go. Even if the Chen family did not mention it, after building the foundation, he would propose marriage to the Chen family. Chen Tianqi came out of the attic and saw Chen Kyokian leaning against a tree not far away, waiting for someone. Chen Tianqi hid his hands behind his back and took out an exquisite iron flower. Chen Kyokian looked up at the sky, and the sight of the object reminded her of someone. An exquisite iron flower appeared in front of her, and Chen Tianqi appeared in front of her. Before Chen Kyokian could happily hug it, the iron flower seemed to come alive as the magic power was injected into it. The petals of the iron flower gradually stretched out, gradually transitioning from the full golden color of the stamen to the elegant pink of the petals. Each petal is soft and transparent, like the light wings of a butterfly. The flowers open slowly and sway gently in the wind, making the whole flower look both vital and elegant. Sister Kyokian, I wish you will be as beautiful as this flower that never withers. This iron flower was made by him based on the iron flower in the movie Kung Fu in his previous life. When injected with magic power, it will bloom into a graceful flower. Not only can it be appreciated, but it is also a medium-grade magic weapon, which was a practice for forging new magic weapons at that time. Its petals can release hidden weapons to attack, which is indeed a prop for intimidating people. What a beautiful instrument. Thank you, Brother Tianqi. Chen Kyokian touched the flower with her hand, and she felt it was just like a real flower, and she was immediately filled with joy. You're welcome, we're already a family. Chen Kyokian's eyes sparkled with tenderness, her face was slightly flushed, and she also revealed a hint of shyness and expectation. The ancestor has already betrothed you to me, you have to accept it even if you don't want to. Chen Tianqi smiled and pinched her face, teasingly. How could I not want to? I want to. Chen Kyokian covered her face and lowered her head, hesitating. Looking at her cute appearance, he suppressed the thoughts in his mind and said, Kyokian, go back and pack your things, we will be heading to the Ascension Conference in 3 days. Chapter 5. After the two reluctantly said goodbye, Chen Tianqi returned to his courtyard, sat cross-legged in his practice room, and counted his current assets. System, open the panel. Name, Chen Tianqi. Sex, male. Age, 17. Spiritual roots, fire, gold bloodline, Kryptonian, civilian template, physique, Kryptonian physique, pure yang. Body skills, super strength, super speed, super hearing, super vision, steel body, biological stance, super breathing, super brain, 5 elements. Basic spells, fusion. Intermediate spell, fire dragon bullet, weapon refiner, magic weapon level, golden will. Burning heaven art realm, perfect key. Training. Number of draws, 0 items. Kryptonian technology encyclopedia, star phantom sword, Kingayan boat. I have the means to kill, but I still lack the means to defend. Although I have a body of steel, I still cannot be careless. I need to refine some defensive magic tools. Chen Tianqi muttered to himself. Then he opened the storage bag given by the ancestor of the Chen family. When he opened the storage bag, what was scattered in front of him was mainly some red sun iron, fine silver, etc., followed by some monster materials, most of which were first-level monsters, and there was also a second-level monster black armored turtle shell. P.S. The levels of monsters are divided into first level, second level, and third level, corresponding to the key training period, foundation building period, and den formation period. Chen Tianqi looked at the turtle shell and thought to himself that this material came at the right time, and the defensive magic tool would be a shield. Then he came to the refining room and started to cook, laugh. 3 days later Chen Tianqi stood in the refinery, looking at a half-man-high shield rotating around him. Combining the production techniques of Kryptonian technology, it incorporates rare metals such as red sun iron and fine silver, and is mainly made of the shell of a black armored turtle. It was forged after 3 days of furnace burning. The energy core is embedded in the middle. Like the Star Phantom sword, it is a top-grade magic weapon. It can also consume the energy core to stimulate the shield to resist the attack of the Jinden stage. The Star Phantom sword and the black armor shield, one attack and one defense means of defense against the enemy, are finally completed. Now I am really invincible below the Jinden stage. However, I am afraid that I am the only one in the world of immortal cultivation who can cross the level of the key refining stage to fight the foundation establishment stage. Chen Tianqi murmured in his heart. After packing up his things, Chen Tianqi came to Chen Tianqi's house, and the two of them were affectionate for a while. After packing up, Chen Tianqi drove the Qingyuan boat and embarked on a journey to Tainan Valley. The two drove the Qingyuan boat through the air. After a few hours, they saw clouds and mist in the distance. This is the cloud formation used to drive away wild beasts and mortals. Brother Tianqi, we are here. Chen Tianqi looked at the towering valley in the distance and pointed happily ahead. Okay, Tianqi, follow me. Chen Tianqi flew to the front of the cloud array, put away the Qingyuan boat, took out a talisman from his arms, pinched the spell in his hand, said a few words to the talisman, and threw it into the air. The talisman in the air turned into a flame and flew into the array. After a while, the fog dissipated, revealing a passage. Chen Tianqi walked in with Chen Tianqi in her arms. Chen Tianqi took Chen Tianqi to the square. The square was not big. There were only a few sparse stalls now. It seemed that they came early. The two of them strolled around the stalls like a fairy couple. There were not many stalls, but Chen Tianqi and Chen Tianqi still watched with relish, because since the practice, the Chen family did not allow them to go out privately, for fear that the genius would fall outside. Not long after, the two of them finished visiting all the stalls. There was nothing worth buying, so they prepared to find a place to stay. The two came to a restaurant that provided accommodation. A man who looked like a shopkeeper looked at the two bright and beautiful people and knew that they were definitely family members, and they were not short of money. Thinking in his heart, he quickly stepped forward, bowed and smiled. Are the two guests eating or staying at the hotel? How to charge for hotel stay? 1 spiritual stone a day so expensive? Chen Tianqi was surprised. The shopkeeper said quickly, the guest doesn't know. There is food in the room, and there is also a spirit gathering array in the room. You can also rely on the spirit gathering array to practice and improve your cultivation, so 1 spirit stone a day is really not expensive. Chen Tianqi thought about it. It was only a few days before the Ascension Conference started, so it wouldn't cost much. He took out 3 spirit stones from the storage bag and put them on the counter, open a room and stay for 3 days first. After the shopkeeper received it, he took out 2 yellow talismans. Please receive this, guest. This is the room's prohibition sign. You can open it by sticking it on the protective prohibition sign when entering or leaving. After Chen Tianqi and Chen Tianqi entered the room, Chen Tianqi looked at Chen Tianqi, who was making the bed like a good wife and mother. He smiled slightly, hugged her hands from behind, and whispered to her ear, Tianqi, it's time to rest. 2 days later, early in the morning, the two packed up their things and checked out. After leaving Tainan Valley, they headed straight for Xianwu Terrace. Along the way, they met many casual cultivators. Seeing that one of Chen Tianqi and Chen Tianqi had completed key training and the other had reached the 10th level of key training, they immediately moved away with fear. It makes people sigh at the difficulty of casual cultivators. When they encounter people with higher cultivation than themselves, they try to hide as far away as possible. Not long after, A blue stone mountain rose from the ground in the distance, with the top of the mountain reaching the clouds. Through the clouds, a giant stone platform was looming. Chen Tianqi and the others stood and admired for a while, then set off and walked onto Xianwu Terrace. Xianwu Terrace is about a kilometer square, with 7 rows of arenas regularly distributed, with 10 seats in each row. The flags of the 7 major sects were planted next to the arenas. At the front, there were people in the uniforms of the 7 major sects, managing order and registering names. Chen Tianqi led Chen Tianqi to the registration point of Huangfeng Valley and saluted to the disciples of Huangfeng Valley. I am Chen Tianqi, with dual spiritual roots of gold and fire. This is my Taoist partner, Chen Tianqi, with dual spiritual roots of wood and water. She wants to join the Huangfeng Valley. After the Huangfeng Valley disciples confirmed with the spirit bead, they registered their names and gave them 2 tokens. They then bowed and said, 2 Taoist friends, remembered to gather at the assembly point after the Ascension Conference. After bowing in return, Chen Tianqi and the other person walked under the arena and ate melons. At the same time, Chen Tianqi did not forget to look around, trying to find the legendary Blackie. But after looking around, no Blackie that met the characteristics was found. After a few days, Chen Tianqi and the other person came to the Huangfeng Valley assembly point. Seeing that there was still no Blackie that met the characteristics, could it be that Han Lao Mo didn't come? That shouldn't be the case, right? Chen Tianqi was puzzled, stroking his chin and squinting his eyes to continue looking. Suddenly, he looked up and saw this white-faced boy wearing a bamboo hat. This man looked handsome and his cultivation had reached the 10th level of key training, but his whole body made people feel that he was just ordinary. But he did not meet the characteristics of Han Lao Mo in the novel. Chen Tianqi suddenly had an idea in his mind, and suddenly he realized, could this be the anime version of Heezy? Chen Tianqi's mind moved, and he took Chen Tianqi to greet him and confirm his thoughts. My fellow Taoist, I am Chen Tianqi, and I am also a cultivator who joined the Yellow Maple Valley. Chen Tianqi bowed and smiled. Han Li looked at the handsome man with a gentle face, and a sense of vigilance suddenly rose in his heart. He bowed in return. Taoist Chen, I am Han Li. I am joining the Yellow Maple Valley with my ancestors' order of ascension. When Chen Tianqi heard the name Han Li, he knew that the white-faced boy in front of him was Han Li. He also saw the vigilance in Han Li's eyes. He thought that he was too reckless and aroused Han Peo's vigilance. Fellow Taoist Han, don't be nervous. I am also a monk who joined the Yellow Maple Valley. You should inform the uncle who stayed here in the Yellow Maple Valley about your special situation. Then Chen Tianqi took Han Li to Uncle Wu at the gathering point in the Yellow Maple Valley to explain the situation. Chapter 6. Chen Tianqi and his group came to Uncle Wu and told him what happened. I haven't seen the Ascension Order for a long time. I believe that you are also a blessed person. Then you can go to Huangfeng Valley with everyone. Uncle Wu looked at the sign of the Ascension Order with surprise. After Han Li thanked him, they boarded the flying boat together. On the way back to Huangfeng Valley, Chen Tianqi did not try to please Han Li on purpose, but seriously introduced him to Huangfeng Valley and the forces and factions in the current world of immortal cultivation. After arriving at Huangfeng Valley, the disciples who entered normally received the foundation building pills, while Han Li was left alone because of the Ascension Order, so the two said goodbye in a hurry. Chen Tianqi drove the Qingyuan boat and brought Chen Tianqi to the cave residence of the key training disciples. Because Chen Tianqi and Chen Tianqi had the support of the Chen family, the caves they were assigned were also the top ones among the key training disciples. They had everything they should have, but the grade was low. Tianqi, I will start building my foundation in a few days, so I am afraid I will not be able to accompany you in the coming days. Chen Tianqi said softly while hugging the beauty in front of him in front of the cave. Brother Tianqi, I understand. Just build your foundation well, and I will take care of the rest of the chores for you. Chen Tianqi blushed and looked at Chen Tianqi affectionately. Looking at the lovely Chen Tianqi, Chen Tianqi smiled slightly. Practice quickly, I will eat you after I build my foundation. Hearing this, Chen Tianqi blushed. After they parted, they returned to their caves. After arriving at the cave, Chen Tianqi had a good sleep, ready to rest up and break through the foundation. The next morning, Chen Tianqi counted all his belongings and prepared to close the cave house and start to build the foundation in seclusion. It happened that the spiritual energy of the cave house that he found with the Chen family's connections was much richer than that of other disciples' cave houses, so it was no problem to use it to build the foundation. Next, Chen Tianqi took out a bottle of key-gathering pill from the storage bag, put it in his mouth, and began to enter into a state of meditation to refine the medicinal power. Time passed in a flash, and 3 months passed. Chen Tianqi's whole body was full of spiritual energy, and his breath soared, comparable to a foundation-building cultivator. Looking at the spiritual energy that began to liquefy in his danshan, Chen Tianqi knew it was time to take the foundation-building pill. He took out the foundation-building pill and put it in his mouth. The foundation-building pill melted in his mouth and immediately turned into fierce medicinal power. The spiritual energy of the body flowed from the 4 meridians and 8 vessels to the danshan under the carrying of the medicinal power. As the medicinal power took effect, the spiritual power continued to liquefy in the danshan. Suddenly, Chen Tianqi activated the foundation-building chapter of the golden wheel-burning heaven art, and the external spiritual energy rushed to the cave house, forming a small vortex. When ordinary cultivators are building their foundation, their danshan is like a lake. However, when Chen Tianqi's last group of spiritual power was liquefied, a golden red sea of mana was formed in his danshan. It was much stronger than the mana of ordinary people building their foundation, and it burned like a sea of fire. Chen Tianqi opened his eyes with joy. The effect of this foundation building was beyond his expectations. Not only was his mana several times that of cultivators of the same level right after he completed the foundation building, but after the marrow washing and yijing, the physical strength of the Kryptonian was further improved, and he was not inferior to the cultivators in the late stage of Jinden. After completing the foundation building, Chen Tianqi used the system to operate the golden wheel-burning heaven art, preparing to consolidate his realm, and he was going to practice the escape technique that came with the technique, the time escape technique. If the time escape technique is successfully practiced, the speed of the foundation building period will be faster than that of the Jinden cultivator. Coupled with Chen Tianqi's biological position, it can be said that if he wants to escape, no one can catch him. 3 months later, Chen Tianqi, who had been in seclusion for a full 6 months, was finally ready to come out. He silently said in his heart system, open the panel name, Chen Tianqi sex, male age. 17/360 spiritual roots, fire, gold bloodline, Kryptonian, civilian template, physique, Kryptonian physique, pure yang body skills, super strength, super speed, super hearing, super vision, steel body, biological stance, super breathing, super brain, 5 elements basic spells, fusion intermediate spell, fire dragon bullet, weapon refiner, magic weapon level, golden will burning heaven art realm, initial stage of foundation building number of draws. 1 number of crossings. 1 items, Kryptonian technology encyclopedia, star phantom sword, king iron boat, black armor shield. Looking at the extra draw chance, it was just as Chen Tianqi expected. Every time he broke through a great realm, he would get a chance to draw a lottery. At the same time, he did not expect that the number of crossings would also increase. Without waiting for Chen Tianqi to think about it, he decided to draw the lottery first. So after bathing and burning incense, Chen Tianqi put his hands behind his back and looked at the panel with a sharp and serious look. System, lottery, ding. Get the reward, the crucible of heaven and earth, the crucible of heaven and earth. Looking at this domineering name, Chen Tianqi felt sure that this was a big prize, and hurriedly checked it out, receiving it all in his mind. He saw a majestic and huge man standing in the universe, with reddish-brown flames wrapped around his body, burning the entire universe. The giant raised his hand and pinched the magic formula, and suddenly all parts of the universe turned into a series of pure lights that were stormily absorbed by the giant's body, accepting all. Gradually, the universe turned into a white void, and the giant suddenly opened his eyes, which suddenly turned into countless mysterious tadpole characters, which were transmitted into Chen Tianqi's mind. The next moment, Chen Tianqi's mind was filled with the formula of the crucible of heaven and earth, taking root and sprouting, as if he was born with it. The furnace fire is just lit, and the heaven and earth are forged together. The 5 elements gather and transform without reason. The fusion of yin and yang fills the danshan with ki guided by the stars. Practice at night and return to the moon's sunbathing body, sweating profusely 9 turn golden elixir, inner cultivation of the gods. The wind and clouds meet, the law is formed naturally inside into the universe, enlightenment and return to the root. 64 words, distilled the essence of the heaven and earth furnace technique. Moreover, this technique not only cultivates both the body and the mind, but is also easy to maintain. As the name suggests, everything in the world can be refined for personal use, strengthening the body and increasing mana. From rare resources such as elixirs, spiritual herbs, monster blood, and source power to poisons, monster corpses, etc., you can even eat oil to refine if you are not picky, but the feedback from doing so is minimal. When you practice to perfection, you can easily feed on the universe and nourish your body. Chen Tianqi looked at the ridiculous technique. Isn't this just a replica of the heaven-devouring demon technique? He was so excited that he wanted to do a set of military boxing on the spot and said to the system, "Adoptive father. If you don't mind, I'm willing to be your adoptive father." The system quickly said, "My son, please get up quickly." Chen Tianqi, who was about to leave the cave, was greatly stimulated by the sudden big prize and decided to reward himself in a few months of seclusion. Laughs. Chen Tianqi returned to the depths of the cave, sat in it quietly, closed his eyes and concentrated, formed seals with his hands, and began to try to practice the furnace of heaven and earth. As he breathed, the spiritual energy between heaven and earth seemed to be attracted and slowly flowed into his body. Subtle light began to appear around him, constantly absorbing the spiritual energy outside the cave, and the spiritual energy kept circling around his body. The 5 elements of gold, wood, water, fire and earth in the valley outside the cave were also constantly absorbed into it, and gradually gathered in the Danshan. The Danshan, which was originally a sea of fire, also changed. A huge vortex of flames formed in its center, as if it formed an invisible furnace, constantly devouring the 5 elements of energy pouring in from the outside world. The robes on his body were also ignited by the heat from the Danshan, turning into a ball of golden red flames. The flames did not hurt Chen Tianqi's body, but instead spread all over his body as the flames burned, forming one golden red stripe after another. At first glance, it looks like lines of flames, or like golden red tadpole codes. The heaven and earth furnace has been completed. Chen Tianqi opened his eyes and looked at the golden and red lines on his body. With a move of his consciousness, he took out all the remaining pills and drank them all in one breath. Without waiting for Chen Tianqi to react, the red vortex in his Danshan sucked in fiercely, swallowing up all the medicinal power like a whale. Suddenly, the golden and red lines on his body flashed, and Chen Tianqi felt that his physical body and magic power had been strengthened. It is worthy of the heaven and earth furnace's ability to swallow the heaven and eat the earth. It is really powerful. Chen Tianqi looked at the red vortex in his Danshan, as if he was still unsatisfied, and took a breath of cold air in his heart. Chapter 7. Chen Tianqi, who had cultivated the furnace of heaven and earth, was originally preparing to leave the retreat and go to the ceremonial hall to register his name after successfully building the foundation, and then find the spiritual spring cave that originally belonged to Huangfeng. As a result, as soon as Chen Tianqi walked out of the cave, he found that the red vortex in his Danshan was constantly devouring the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. He seemed to be like a water pump. He was too conspicuous in front of the cultivators and might attract prying eyes. Therefore, Chen Tianqi planned to go to the Xiangxing sect market in Yuanwu Kingdom first to buy a set of necessary refining materials and cave formations. The most important thing is to find a key retaining technique that can block his own breath and isolate the detection of spiritual consciousness. By the way, find Xinruyan, which is the key to opening a new map. Not daring to delay at all, Chen Tianqi drove the Qingyuan boat to the direction of Yuanwu Kingdom. In less than half a day, Chen Tianqi arrived outside the Xiangxing sect market. The entire market was spread out in a circle with the Xingjian pavilion in the center, which was completely different from the market in Huangfeng Valley. Refining, formations, talismans, elixirs, and techniques were all divided into different areas. Chen Tianqi waved his hand and changed the robes of the disciples of the Yellow Maple Valley into the clothes of a casual cultivator, and then entered the market. Chen Tianqi's goal was very clear. He first found a local hyacinth and asked him to take him to a shop selling refining materials. In less than half an hour, Chen Tianqi looked at the shop that came into view and walked into the hall. There was an old man with a white beard and a ruddy face. Seeing that a guest had arrived, the old man with a white beard hurried forward to ask, "Is this customer here to buy instruments or materials? I want to buy some materials for making top-grade magic tools. I'll buy as many as I can, preferably silkworm silk." Chen Tianqi was very wealthy, and when he was cultivating in the Chen family, the Chen family's ancestors rewarded him with many spirit stones. When the white-bearded old man heard this, He was shocked at first, and then he spoke happily. This senior has a good eye. In addition to selling magic tools, my Beiji pavilion also stores the most high-quality refining materials. The quality is unmatched in the Xiangxing sect market. After saying that, he picked up the sound transmission talisman and called the servant to take out all the materials for refining the best magic tools in the inventory. Senior, there are 5,859 spiritual stones in total. Please give me 5,800 spiritual stones, the old man with white beard said respectfully after counting. Chen Tianqi waved his hand, and spiritual stones flew out of the storage bag. He put the materials into it. Then Chen Tianqi walked out of the equipment refining shop. Feng Xinzi, who was waiting outside, saw him coming out and hurriedly stepped forward, bowed and smiled. Senior, have you bought what you want? Where do you need me to take it to? Chen Tianqi casually took out 5 spirit stones. What's your name? Do you know where to buy a cheap and advanced magic array? Hyacinth took the spirit stone and smiled. I am Wang Xiling. Senior, you have asked the right person. Other people in the Xiangxing sect market will only bring foreign cultivators to the Xingqian pavilion. Although the Xingqian pavilion is large, the formations sold are expensive and ordinary. But I can take you to buy cheap and advanced formations. This place is not opened by your friend, is it? Chen Tianqi looked at him meaningfully, as if smiling. Wang Xiling's tone stagnated, and he said awkwardly, Senior, to be honest, the owner of the shop there is indeed my friend, but Senior, just relax, it is definitely worth the money. Then I'll have a good look. Less than half an hour later, Wang Xiling brought Chen Tianqi to a formation shop. The shop was not big and looked ordinary. Wang Xiling was the first to break in and shouted to the store. Qianxio, come quickly, I've got a guest for you. A figure hurriedly ran out from the cabinet of the store. Come on, brother Wang, why are you here? Come meet this senior, you have no sense at all. Wang Xiling quickly pulled Qianxio over, and Qianxio politely saluted Chen Tianqi. Hello, senior. I am Qianxio. I wonder what formation you are here to buy. Chen Tianqi did not rush to answer, but looked around the store. Did you say you have advanced formations here? I see that what you have here are just some basic formations. Qianxio hurriedly explained. Senior, you may not know that most of the people who buy formations in our store are in the key training stage. If they want advanced formations or have other requirements, we will customize them for them. Oh? Then I won't waste any more words. I need a formation to protect the cave, which can resist the attacks of high-level cultivators and trap the enemy. After hearing Chen Tianqi's words, Qianxio and the others looked at each other. They didn't expect that they needed such a high-level formation. Qianxio thought about it and gritted his teeth. Senior, I have a simplified version of the reversed 5 elements formation made by my friend, but I need the 1,000-year-old spiritual herb in exchange. Reversed 5 elements formation? This is not something that a cultivator in the key training stage can set up. Just as the voice was spoken, Qianxio took out the formation plate and handed it to Chen Tianqi. Since you don't believe me, I will show it to you. Chen Tianqi used his spiritual sense to probe and found that it was indeed the reversed 5 elements formation, but it was only 1/10 of its power. This formation is only 1/10 as powerful as the original one. The price of a 1,000-year-old spiritual herb is too high. Chen Tianqi pretended to be dissatisfied. Senior, you may not know that I want the 1,000-year-old spiritual herbs to cure my friend's illness. My friend's name is Xinruan. Although she is a woman, her physique is the body of dragon's roar. If I don't use the 1,000-year-old spiritual herbs to suppress the dragon's roar, I'm afraid her meridians will shrink and she will die from the fire attack. Chen Tianqi thought about it. Maybe he could use the furnace of heaven and earth to absorb the dragon's roar? I don't have the 1,000-year-old spiritual herb, but in exchange, I can help your friend get rid of the dragon's roar energy. Qianxio had some doubts, but when he thought of his beloved being tortured by the dragon's roar energy day and night, he agreed. Thank you, senior. I will go to the backyard and ask her to come out. Please wait for a moment. Qianxio then apologized and left. After a while, Qianxio came with 2 women. The 2 women were beautiful. One of them had an extraordinary temperament, and the other followed behind half a step. Junior Xinruan, this is my maid Xiaomai. I don't know if you take what you said seriously. Xinruan stood up and saluted Chen Tianqi. Of course you can. If you don't believe me, I can remove the dragon's roar for you right now, Chen Tianqi said. Xinruan was delighted when she heard this. Then please help me remove the dragon roar energy, and I am willing to continue to improve this formation for you. Hearing this, Chen Tianqi grabbed Xinruan's wrist and began to slowly explore with his magic power. Qianxio, who was standing next to him, was full of envy. He had never held Xinruan's hand until now. At this time, Chen Tianqi had also found out clearly that in Xinruan's body, a very yang and very strong energy was constantly growing and burning Xinruan's meridians. Chen Tianqi took the initiative to operate the furnace of heaven and earth, and suddenly the dragon's raw energy in Xinruan's body was involuntarily sucked away by Chen Tianqi. Xinruan trembled all over, feeling a suction force constantly absorbing the dragon's raw energy in her body. And as the dragon's raw energy continued to decrease, Xinruan's body felt a sense of comfort. Chen Tianqi carefully operated the furnace of heaven and earth, because he found at this time that as long as he wanted, he could use Xinruan's magic power for his own use. In order not to devour Xinruan completely, he had to work hard to operate the technique. After an instant of time, the dragon's raw energy in Xinruan's body was devoured. At this time, Chen Tianqi slowly closed the technique and said to Xinruan, "Miss Xin, the dragon roar key has been removed, but the dragon roar body is still there. It will not erupt again for at least 7 or 8 years." Before Xinruan could speak, the maid Xiaomi beside her was very happy. "That's great, miss, you finally don't have to be tortured day and night." Qianxio was also very excited and took out a jade slip and handed it to Chen Tianqi. "Thank you very much for your help this time. This jade slip is the divine manual of my Qi family. I will give it to you together with the array plate. Thank you for your trouble, senior. If you don't mind coming back here in a few years, I would like to make a reversal 5 elements array for you that is as powerful as that of a giant and cultivator," Xinruan said at this time. Chen Tianqi took the array plate and jade slip, waved his hand, and called Wang Xiling to go out. "No need to thank me. In a few years I hope to see a more powerful inverted 5 elements formation than the current one." The 3 people in the store were grateful and bowed to say goodbye. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8. Chen Tianqi and Wang Xiling walked out of the store, and Wang Xiling took him to Xingjin Pavilion, and then let him leave. He came to Xingjin Pavilion to purchase a set of killing arrays. Chen Tianqi felt that only one set of inverted 5 elements array was not enough. The complete inverted 5 elements array is usually a sect protection array, but it lacks killing moves, so another set of killing arrays is needed. Entering Xingjin Pavilion, what came into view was a beautiful woman with more than enough charm. Her heart was so broad that she stood up and shook 3 times. Chen Tianqi couldn't help but look at her a few more times. "A distinguished guest has arrived. I wonder what kind of formation he needs." The beautiful woman looked at the handsome and strong Chen Tianqi, bowed with her hands in a salutation, and inadvertently revealed a large area of snow white. "I need a powerful killing array." Chen Tianqi looked at the snow white fruit in front of him and understood that this was a marketing tactic, but it would be a waste if he didn't look at it. The guests have arrived at the right time. Today, a powerful killing array has arrived. Even a giant and stage cultivator would have to think twice before using it. The beautiful woman smiled and took out an array plate. This formation is called the 5 elements killing formation. Anyone who enters this formation will be banned by the 5 elements of gold, wood, water, fire and earth. It has the effects of imprisonment, killing, and banning. Now it only requires 11,451.4 spiritual stones. It's too expensive. 1,000 spirit stones. Chen Tianqi looked at the beautiful woman's chest, which was fluctuating due to her excited tone, and bargained lightly. This is a formation that even giant and cultivators would consider. At least 10,000 spirit stones, 3,000 spirit stones, no, 8,000 spirit stones, 6,000 spirit stones, deal. Chen Tianqi secretly sighed, it's too expensive. Looking at the beautiful woman in front of him who was smiling like a fox, Chen Tianqi gritted his teeth. No wonder other cultivators complained that this Xingjin Pavilion was expensive. The beautiful woman stepped forward and handed Chen Tianqi the formation plate, and continued to sell it. "Guest, this is your array plate. Do you want to continue looking at other arrays?" Chen Tianqi took the array plate expressionlessly and left without looking back. Then Chen Tianqi went to the Huangfeng building in the cultivation area. After searching for a long time, he found that there was no key collecting cultivation method he wanted. Before leaving, he thought of forging a robe to conceal his breath. Thinking of this, Chen Tianqi hurried to the previous refinery shop. Chen Tianqi came to the refinery shop again, and without waiting for the white-bearded old man to speak, he hurriedly spoke. "You provide a place to refine weapons here?" The white-bearded old man was stunned for a moment, then bowed respectfully. It turned out that the senior was also a weapon refiner. "Originally, we didn't provide a place for refining weapons, but since the senior spent a lot of money, the shop could provide a refining room for the senior." After saying that, the old man took Chen Tianqi to the refining room. Chen Tianqi looked at the fully equipped refining room, took out the refining materials purchased here before, lit the pot and started to forge the magic weapon. Time flies by, and half a month has passed. Chen Tianqi sat cross-legged in the weapon refining room, taking stock of the results of this forging. 2 green robes, a hammer-shaped weapon, a knife weapon, and a hairpin. Looking at these things that at least exuded the quality of top-grade weapons, Chen Tianqi nodded with satisfaction and put on the green robe to cover up his aura. Then he opened the door and prepared to leave. When the white-bearded old man in the shop saw Chen Tianqi coming out of the room, greed flashed in his eyes, and he hurried forward to salute respectfully. "Congratulations on coming out of retreat, senior. There are 800 spirit stones in total, please pay them." Chen Tianqi glanced casually, and the spirit stones flew out of the storage bag, and he hurriedly left the market. "Quick, follow him." Not long after Chen Tianqi left the shop, 3 cultivators appeared at the corner. He quickly followed them, fearing that he could not catch up. Chen Tianqi drove the Kryptonian boat slowly. His spiritual sense had already seen these 3 people in the market. These 3 people had been following him for a long time since he left the shop. It was obvious that they were going to kill people and set fire to them, and rob them of their money. However, Chen Tianqi was not in a hurry. Instead, he took out the Kryptonian boat and flew slowly. He was happy to earn some extra money by fishing. Anyway, he didn't have many spirit stones, and he could get rid of some disasters for the world of immortal cultivation. The 3 people behind him stood on a flying boat, which was very fast. After a while, they overtook Chen Tianqi. The 3 formed a triangle to intercept Chen Tianqi. "Hey, if you know what's best for you, hand over your storage bag. Maybe I can leave you with a whole body." The cultivator in front of him laughed evilly, looking at King Gaianzhao with greed in his eyes, and then looked at Chen Tianqi like a lamb to be slaughtered. Chen Tianqi stopped the flying boat, put it in the storage bag, and used his spiritual sense to explore. 2 were in the middle stage of foundation building, and 1 was in the early stage of foundation building. No wonder they had the courage to come to trouble him. "Taoist friend, it is a pleasure to have friends coming from afar. I will treat you to some Dao soup," Chen Tianqi said. Without waiting for the 3 monks in front to say anything, his eyes became fierce, and the star phantom sword moved as he wished, slashing fiercely. Before they could react, the sword flashed, and 3 heads flew high, with some incredible expressions in their eyes. "Please go to the underworld to drink your soup," Chen Tianqi thought to himself, then recalled the flying sword, and with a wave of his hand, he took their storage bags and flying boats into it. Standing in the air, he looked around and said casually, "Taoist friend in the dark, please show yourself. Otherwise, I will teach you the power of flying swords." "Ahaha, I'm so sorry, fellow Taoist is so powerful, it's no problem for him to defeat opponents of higher levels." A white-bearded old man came out, and Chen Tianqi took a closer look and found that he was the owner of the equipment refining shop. His cultivation was not the perfect key training in the market, but the peak of foundation building. Chen Tianqi was secretly shocked. He just lied casually, but he didn't expect the owner of the shop to come out immediately. He thought that the owner of the equipment refining shop was involved in this ambush, but he was only responsible for contacting these cultivators. After all, in the market for half a month, the one he had the most contact with was old Deng. His wealth was exposed, so he was mentally prepared. But he didn't expect that old Deng's concealment technique was so amazing that he even deceived his own consciousness. You know, his consciousness is already comparable to that of a cultivator in the late stage of foundation building. Coupled with the blood function of Kryptonians, it can be said that no one below the Giant stage can hide from him. When Chen Tianqi thought of this, He concluded in his heart that old Deng must have practiced a profound key-retaining technique. A gleam of light flashed in his eyes, and he spoke without changing his expression. Taoist friend, why are you here? Ha. It's okay. I saw 3 shifty monks following you in the market. I was worried, so I followed you. Since you are okay, I will leave now. The old man showed a look of great worry, then clasped his fists and turned to leave. The moment the old man turned around, Chen Tianqi instantly activated the energy core of the Star Phantom Sword, and the flying sword instantly burst into dazzling light, turning into a lightning bolt and slashing at the old man. The old man's hair stood up, and he turned around and was about to summon the magic weapon from the storage bag, when he saw a flash of sword light in his eyes, like a meteor across the night sky, leaving only a body split in half. The old man was thinking before he died, how dare he, a cultivator in the early stage of foundation building, attack me? Unfortunately, he did not expect that Chen Tianqi would not be afraid even if a cultivator in the giant stage came. It can only be said that he fought eagles all day, but was pecked in the eye by an eagle. Chen Tianqi put away his storage bag, and drove the Kingayan boat away without waiting to check. Chapter 9. One day later, Chen Tianqi returned to the Yellow Maple Valley and immediately went to the meeting hall to prepare to open his own cave. When he arrived at the meeting hall, he saw 2 gatekeepers immediately bowed and asked, "Hello, Uncle Master. Is there anything we can help you with? Take me to see Master Zhang. I have something to discuss with him." Chen Tianqi nodded and said directly. After a while, Chen Tianqi was brought to Master Zhang by the guard disciples. "What can I do for you, junior brother?" Zhang Linggao looked at the unfamiliar foundation building cultivator in front of him, but he felt that he had seen him somewhere before. "Master, I am Chen Tianqi. I was lucky enough to establish my foundation not long ago. I came here to report to you and claim the right to open a cave," Chen Tianqi told Zhang Linggao truthfully. Looking at the handsome young Chen Tianqi, Zhang Linggao suddenly realized. It turned out to be Chen Tianqi from the Chen family. He has successfully established his foundation after only 1 year of entering the sect. He is indeed the Qilin son of the Chen family. Zhang Linggao twisted his 3 long beards and smiled again. "Junior brother, you have successfully established your foundation, and we have added another high-level disciple to our sect. This is really a cause for celebration. Junior brother, please wait for a moment. I will go get the roster, then I'll trouble you." "Master brother," Chen Tianqi politely bowed. After about an instant of time, Zhang Linggao took a white list in his hand and wrote Chen Tianqi's name at the end of the list with a gold pen in front of Chen Tianqi. Then Zhang Linggao took out 5 medium-grade spirit stones and a set of bewitching array from his storage bag and handed them to Chen Tianqi. These spirit stones are rewards for every disciple who successfully builds his foundation. In the future, they will receive a medium-grade spirit stone from the sect every year as an offering. In addition, disciples in the foundation building stage do not need to do chores frequently, but they must be there when the sect calls for them to do so. These small flags are the soul blocking array, the simplest expelling array, used to drive away wild beasts and mortals. Of course, if you have a better array, you can naturally not use these. "Thank you, Master brother." Chen Tianqi took the things and thanked him. After that, the two talked for a while, and Chen Tianqi said goodbye and left. After leaving the meeting hall, Chen Tianqi drove the Kingayan boat to Qilin Pavilion. Qilin Pavilion, also known as the Spirit Beast Pavilion, is one of the most important places in Huangfeng Valley, responsible for taming and breeding spirit beasts. Chen Tianqi came here to rent a double-eyed rat to find the Linquan Cave mansion of Han Pao in the original novel. When he arrived at the front desk of Qilin Pavilion, a female disciple came up to greet Chen Tianqi and asked him, "This uncle is here to rent a spirit beast." The female disciple, who was about 16 or 17 years old, looked at Chen Tianqi expectantly. Seeing this, Chen Tianqi spoke directly without any nonsense. "I need a double-eyed rat for a few days." The female disciple quickly agreed and went to get the double-eyed rat. In less than a cup of tea, the female disciple came out of the restriction holding a small rat the size of a fist, and came to Chen Tianqi and said respectfully, "Uncle Master, this is a double-eyed rat. It costs 2 spirit stones to rent it for 1 day. When the time is up, Uncle Master can just release the restriction on the double-eyed rat and return to Qilin Pavilion. I already know, I will rent it for 5 days first." Chen Tianqi took the double-eyed rat, took out 10 spirit stones, and then left Qilin Pavilion. Then according to his memory, Linquin Cave Mansion was located in a remote location on the edge of Huangfeng Valley. Chen Tianqi spent half a day to get to the edge of Huangfeng Valley. He took out a spirit fruit and threw it to the double-eyed rat. "Rat, you have to work after you finish eating." Chen Tianqi stroked the double-eyed rat. The double-eyed rat ate the spiritual fruit with a few crunching sounds, then cried twice with vigor and flew in one direction. Chen Tianqi hurriedly followed behind. The double-eyed rat searched several places in succession, all of which were places with abundant spiritual energy, but Chen Tianqi did not see the spiritual spring cave he wanted, so he drove the double-eyed rat away and continued to search. After a few days, the double-eyed rat brought Chen Tianqi to the stone wall of a mountain peak and squeaked towards it. Chen Tianqi summoned the flying sword and blasted a big hole. Suddenly, rich spiritual energy rushed in. It turned out to be a natural cave. Chen Tianqi hurried in, and sure enough, he saw a spring flowing in the depths, clear and transparent. It seems that this is the Linquin Cave. Chen Tianqi stroked Shushu and rewarded it with a spiritual fruit, then released the restriction. Shushu ate the spiritual fruit and flew to Kilin Pavilion. Next, Chen Tianqi summoned the flying sword and began to open up the cave, until he carved out a practice room, a weapon refining room, a hall, and a living room. Chen Tianqi spent a few more days arranging the inverted 5 elements formation outside the cave, and the 5 elements ceiling formation and the inverted 5 elements formation. After everything was arranged properly, Chen Tianqi came to the practice room and began to count the gains from this market. The first was 2 sets of formations, 1 set of inverted 5 elements formations, and 1 set of 5 elements ceiling formations. The second was a few refined magic weapons, and the last was the storage bags generously helped by the 4 couriers. After opening the storage bags of the first 3 couriers, he was surprised. He found that the 3 of them could not even gather 1,000 spirit stones, and they did not even have the elixir for cultivation. The rest were just a few magic tools and a flying boat. Seeing this poor appearance, they actually came out to learn to rob. Chen Tianqi couldn't help crying and laughing, but then he thought that as casual cultivators, they had no one to rely on, and they might die one day. If they had good things, they would use them up as soon as possible to increase their cultivation. Then he opened the storage bag of the last courier, which contained a jade slip, a long stick magic tool, and several bottles of spirit gathering pills for foundation building cultivation. What surprised Chen Tianqi the most was that there were not only nearly 30,000 spirit stones, but also a sky thunder seed and a jade slip of cultivation method. The jade slip was the cultivation method that the old man used to deceive Chen Tianqi's consciousness. It was an ancient cultivation method of gathering ki from an unknown source, the secret of concealing the sky. Thanks a lot, a gift from nature. Chen Tianqi looked at this rich harvest and smiled from ear to ear. Then Chen Tianqi's consciousness probed into the jade slip and began to practice the hidden breath and concealment technique. Half a month later, Chen Tianqi opened his eyes, and his figure seemed to blend into nature. Even the most sensitive spiritual sense could hardly detect his breath, and he could freely adjust the size of his breath. Chen Tianqi stood up and restrained his breath. If there were cultivators in front of him, they would be surprised to find that the person in front of them was actually immortal without any cultivation. This is the miraculous effect of the hidden breath and concealing the heaven perfect concealment, deceiving the world, making the cultivator harmless in front of people, and also making the cultivator seem like a god in front of people. System, open the panel name, Chen Tianqi sex, male age. 19/360 spiritual roots, fire, gold bloodline, Kryptonian, civilian template, physique, Kryptonian physique, pure yang body skills, super strength, super speed, super hearing, super vision, iron body, biological stance, super breathing, super brain, 5 elements basic spells, intermediate spells, fire dragon bomb, refiner, magic weapon level, golden will burning heaven art, heaven and earth furnace, concealing heaven art realm, peak of the initial stage of foundation building number of draws. 0 number of crossings. 1 items, Kryptonian technology encyclopedia, star phantom sword, king iron boat, black armor shield, Zuanchan hammer, 2 king's robes, water condensation knife, peach blossom hairpin, inverted 5 elements formation, 5 elements ceiling formation. Chen Tianqi looked at the panel, feeling his breath like a mortal himself, smiled with satisfaction, and then adjusted his breath back to its original state, preparing to take a good bath and burn incense to see the young lady he had not seen for a long time. Chapter 10. Chen Tianqi left the cave and drove the flying boat to the cave where Chen Tianqian was. In less than half a day, Chen Tianqi arrived in front of Chen Tianqian's cave, took out the sound transmission node and struck it into the cave. After a while, Chen Tianqian was full of joy, took 2 steps at a time, and walked towards Chen Tianqi quickly. Like a young swallow returning to its nest, she threw herself into Chen Tianqi's arms. "Brother Tianqi, you are finally out of confinement. I missed you so much." Chen Tianqian looked at Chen Tianqi tenderly, her hands tightly hugged Chen Tianqi's waist, and then buried her face in Chen Tianqi's arms, sticking tightly to him, fearing that he would leave again. "I miss you too." Chen Tianqi looked at Chen Tianqian's fair and rosy face, and the affectionate behavior. He stretched out his hand to gently hug her slender waist and responded immediately. After a long time, Chen Tianqian reluctantly left Chen Tianqi's arms, with affectionate eyes and shyness and sweetness. After more than a year, Chen Tianqian's cultivation has reached the 12th level of key training. Chen Tianqi lifted the black hair hanging in front of her eyes and gently tucked it behind her ears, and said softly, "Tianqian, I have now opened up my own cave for building foundations. This time I came here to take you back to my cave so that you can prepare for building foundations." When Chen Tianqian heard this, she felt sweet in her heart and couldn't help but smile foolishly. "Okay, Brother Tianqi, I'm available anytime." The face of a man is as red as a peach blossom, and one smile can conquer a city, and another smile can conquer a country. When they arrived at the Linquan cave, they opened the formation and flew in the Kingayan boat. Chen Tianqi brought Chen Tianqi into the practice room and spoke in a gentle voice. "I have already established my foundation. It is time to visit Elder Chen Ming. Qiao Jin, you should practice well here and strive to establish your foundation as soon as possible." After that, the two of them were intimate for a moment, and Chen Tianqi got up and left to visit Mr. Chen Ming in the law enforcement hall of Huangfeng Valley. After 1 or 2 incense sticks, Chen Tianqi arrived at the door of the law enforcement hall. The 2 gatekeepers saw Chen Tianqi coming and hurried forward to salute. "Hello, Uncle Master. May I ask what brings you here? Is Elder Chen here? Take him to see him." After hearing this, a disciple sent a sound transmission node and took Chen Tianqi to see Elder Chen. Soon Chen Tianqi came to hall. The person sitting in the hall was Elder Chen Ming. Chen Tianqi stepped forward and bowed. Junior Chen Tianqi greets Elder Chen. Chen Tianqi respects Chen Ming from the bottom of his heart, because he not only brought Chen Tianqi back to the Chen family, but also adopted him. He has been cultivating him vigorously for more than 10 years, so how can Chen Tianqi not be grateful? Chen Ming used his spiritual sense to feel Chen Tianqi's cultivation, and his attitude was very gentle. "Tianqi, you don't have to be so polite. You and I are both in the foundation building stage. From now on, you can just call me senior brother. Elder Chen has done me a favor, and this is what I should do. Besides, you have raised me in the Chen family for more than 10 years, so it is reasonable for me to call myself a junior." Chen Tianqi looked at the kind-looking old man and said respectfully. Chen Ming stroked his beard and laughed, and asked kindly, "You have also established your foundation, so you should be ready to marry Tianqian." Naturally, Tianqian will have to retreat to build her foundation in a few days, and when the foundation is completed, we will officially become Taoist companions. After Chen Tianqi finished speaking, he took out a Zuanshan hammer from his storage bag and handed it to Chen Ming. "Elder Chen, this Zuanshan hammer is a top-grade magical weapon that I carefully refined, so I will give it to you as a small gift." Chen Tian took the hammer and looked at the crystal-clear handle and the hammer head engraved with the golden runes, his face full of joy. Tianqi is really thoughtful. After receiving the gift, Chen Ming took Chen Tianqi to talk about some things that happened in the Chen family and the world of immortal cultivation over the past year, and also emphasized that the Chen family's weapon refining shop in the Huangfeng Valley market was doing poorly. Chen Tianqi understood that this was to ask him to help refine a batch of magic weapons, and immediately said, "Elder Chen, rest assured, as long as the materials are complete, I can refine magic tools for the Chen family." Chen Ming smiled. "I'll leave it to you, kid. Don't worry, you will be paid. Here, this is your reward in refining materials. As for the style of the magic weapon, you can use whatever you want. Elder Chen, you have been planning this for a long time." Chen Tianqi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It turned out that he had been prepared. He took the storage bag and used his spiritual sense to find that there were nearly 20,000 spirit stones and materials that could be used to refine at least a dozen magic tools. Chen Ming laughed again, and then the two talked for a while, and then Chen Tianqi said goodbye and left. On the way back to the cave in the Qingyuan boat, Chen Tianqi suddenly remembered that the blood-forbidden land would be opened in more than a year, so he quickly changed direction and headed to Beikao Garden to make a deal with Han Pao. When he arrived at Beikao Garden, Chen Tianqi stood outside the garden and sent a voice transmission. In less than a moment, Han Li appeared. After noticing the aura of Chen Tianqi, he quickly bowed and saluted. Congratulations to Master Chen on his success in building his foundation. May I ask why Master Chen is looking for a disciple? Chen Tianqi waved his hand, smiling. We hit it off right away. Junior brother Han, there's no need to be so polite. Han Li was surprised. Why is he so familiar with her? We've only met a few times. But he didn't talk too much? Uncle Chen is extremely talented. Han Li would never dare to approach him. Chen Tianqi saw Han Li's intention to distance himself from him, but he was not angry. He immediately spoke. In this case, I will not waste my words. I heard that you are proficient in alchemy, so I want you to make some pills for me after you reach the foundation building stage. In exchange, I can give you a top-grade magic weapon and information about the blood-forbidden land. Han Li looked at Chen Tianqi in surprise when he heard about the top-grade magic weapon. This is a good thing. Then he asked without changing his expression. Uncle Chen, is this too valuable? I don't know where this blood-forbidden land is. Chen Tianqi looked at Han Li, who was not ready to give up until he saw the rabbit. Then he took out a water condensation knife and a jade slip with information about the blood-forbidden land. This bloody forbidden land can actually be said to be the herb gardens of the 7 major sects, can be used to pick herbs for refining foundation building pills. However, only key training disciples are allowed to enter. Because they are allowed to kill each other, it is called the blood-forbidden land. You can read this jade slip for specific information. Chen Tianqi handed over the jade slip and the magic weapon. Junior brother Han, I have heard that your foundation building pill was stolen. If Junior brother Han wants to build his foundation, he may have to go to the blood-forbidden land. Moreover, it will not be open until 60 years later. This opportunity is not to be missed. This top-grade magic weapon is my investment in you in advance. When you build your foundation, you can refine some pills for me. Han Li frowned when he heard this. He couldn't wait for 60 years. After thinking for a moment, he agreed. Then Han Li would like to thank Uncle Chen first. If I come back alive and successfully build my foundation, I will refine the foundation building elixir for Uncle Chen. Han Li took the magic weapon and jade slip, bowed again to thank him, and then the two said goodbye to each other and left. Chen Tianqi drove the Qingyuan boat back to Linquan Cave Mansion. Looking at Chen Tianqi, who was meditating in the practice room, Chen Tianqi did not go forward to disturb her. Instead, he walked into the refining room and started to cook and prepare to refine a batch of magic weapons that Chen Ming had promised. Chapter 11. Time flies. 2 years passed in the blink of an eye. Since Chen Tianqi agreed to refine magic tools for the Chen family's refining shop 2 years ago, Chen Ming would send people to deliver a batch of materials and rewards every once in a while. Chen Tianqi relied on the continuous creation of magic tools in the past 2 years. Not only his skills became more exquisite, but also he accumulated a lot of wealth. Interestingly, a year ago, several key training period casual cultivators spent all their money to buy a top-grade magic tool at the Chen family's refining shop in Huangfeng Valley market. They were targeted by a cultivator in the early stage of foundation building from a small family, who wanted to kill and rob. Unexpectedly, the key training casual cultivator successfully killed the foundation building cultivator with that top-grade magic tool. When this happened, it was widely discussed by the cultivators, and even the top leaders of Huangfeng Valley came down to investigate the situation in person. It turned out that the mystery came from that magic tool. Some giant cultivators found that the top-grade magic tool could accumulate power to emit some of the power of magic weapons, and the refining method was completely different from the traditional form. Following the clues, they found Chen Tianqi. Chen Tianqi was shocked at first, thinking that his secret had been discovered. After some explanations, he realized that his new magic weapon had played such a role. As a result, Chen Tianqi's reputation as a weapon-making master gradually emerged in the world of immortal cultivation, and there was an endless stream of cultivators looking for Chen Tianqi to make magic weapons. For this reason, in order to reduce the amount of tasks, Chen Tianqi announced to the public that he would no longer accept orders for custom-made magic weapons. All of a sudden, the new magic weapons in the Chen family's weapon shop were sold out. Until now, as long as a new magic weapon made by Chen Tianqi appears in the Chen family's weapon shop, it will be bought immediately. Chen Tianqi counted the list and put the refined instruments into the storage bag. He began to recall that Chen's family had revealed that they were pure yang bodies not long ago. A few days later, Chen Ming told him that Li Huayun wanted to take him as a disciple. Chen Tianqi was not surprised that Li Huayun wanted to take him as a disciple. He was not only a master of refining instruments, but also he had a pure yang body. It was normal for him to want to take him as a disciple. After thinking for a long time, Chen Tianqi decided to worship Li Huayun as his master, because he had a complete Kingate sword technique, which could be used as Chen Tianqi's main practice. Chen Tianqi put away the storage bag, pushed open the door of the refining room, and walked out. Looking at the location of the practice room, he found that the fluctuations of spiritual energy were getting bigger and bigger, and he understood that Chen Tianqi would only have a few days to complete the foundation building. Chen Tianqi left Lingquan Cave and drove the Qingyuan boat to find Chen Ming to ask about the location of Li Huayun's cave. After 1 or 2 incense sticks, Chen Tianqi drove the Qingyuan boat to the law enforcement hall and put away the Qingyuan boat. The 2 gatekeepers bowed and saluted. Chen Tianqi nodded and walked in with ease. When Chen Tianqi arrived at the lobby, he saw Chen Ming drinking tea and said, "Elder Chen is in a very good mood." Chen Ming smiled, made a cup of tea, and asked Chen Tianqi to sit down. "Come, Tianqi, come and taste my spiritual tea. I got it from my ancestor with great difficulty." Chen Tianqi sat down, picked up the tea, and tasted it carefully. It is delicate and soft, with a long aftertaste. It is indeed a good tea. Chen Ming stroked his beard and laughed. "You are here to flatter me, right? Of course, I am grateful for the kindness of the Chen family and Uncle Li, and I am willing to take Uncle Li as my master. Elder Chen, please tell me the location of Uncle Li's cave so that I can visit him," Chen Tianqi said respectfully. "Uncle Li is in the cave on the west side of the mountain." Then Chen Ming sighed. His tone seemed sad and leisurely. "Tianqi, the Chen family found a master for you so that you can have someone to lean on. The old ancestor is about to die, and I'm afraid he won't be able to protect you for much longer. The Chen family has been operating in Huangfeng Valley for many years. Even if the ancestor passes away, it will not be swallowed up by others. But there must be a backer, right?" Then Chen Ming reached into the storage bag and took out a jade slip. "This is the technique you want. Don't let the old ancestor down." Chen Tianqi stood up, took the jade slip, bowed, and made a resounding promise. "The younger generation will definitely live up to expectations." "Ha ha ha, good. It's good that Tianqi has this determination." Chen Ming turned into a shoe-faced hero and said loudly and cheerfully. Chen Tianqi looked at this shoe-faced hero and complained in his heart that the old ones are still the best. However, the Chen family is really sincere to him. They may want to rely on him to become powerful in the future, but it's not the heart that counts, right? After the two of them drank tea and talked for a while again, Chen Tianqi got up and said goodbye. Chen Tianqi drove the Qingyuan boat to the West Mountain to look for Li Huayun. On the way, Chen Tianqi's mind poured into the jade slip, which was indeed a superior method. Chen Tianqi admired the method album and soon arrived at the West Mountain. He put the jade slip into the storage bag and headed towards the waterfall on the mountain, where there were obvious traces of formations. Chen Tianqi came to the outside of the waterfall and sent a voice transmission. After about an incense stick of time, a large hole suddenly appeared in the waterfall, and Li Huayun's voice rang in Chen Tianqi's mind. "Chen boy, come in first." Chen Tianqi heard this and stepped into the cave. What came into view was a natural cave with magnificent decorations. Chen Tianqi walked into the depths of the cave and entered a hall. The person sitting in the hall was Li Huayun. Chen Tianqi stepped forward and bowed, explaining his purpose. "Junior Chen Tianqi, meet Uncle Li. I am grateful for Uncle Li's kindness, and I come here this time hoping to become his disciple." Li Huayun was surprised to feel Chen Tianqi's cultivation in the middle stage of foundation building, and then looked at the pure yang body with a vast yang energy and smiled with satisfaction. "Then I will accept you as my disciple." I didn't expect that you would reach the middle stage of foundation building in just 2 years. You are indeed a pure yang body. But don't be proud and complacent. It will be useless if you don't form a pill. Chen Tianqi didn't dare to neglect it and thanked him. Thank you, master. His cultivation was all thanks to the Chen family's efforts, so he doesn't dare to be proud of it. Well, now you are officially my disciple. You can go to the library and pick some things. Disciple thanks master. Chen Tianqi hurriedly thanked him. This cheap master was indeed a reliable person. It was not impossible to become his disciple and get a copy of Kingate's sword art for free. Li Huayin led Chen Tianqi to the library and said, "It has been a few years since you entered the foundation building stage. I believe you have already understood the techniques. Just go pick out what you need." After hearing this, Chen Tianqi thanked him again and entered the library. As soon as he entered, he saw all kinds of books, jade slips, and boxes. There were as many as 70 or 80 kinds, which showed that they had been accumulated for hundreds of years. However, Chen Tianqi's purpose this time was to find the golden page that recorded the Kingate sword art. After searching most of the things, he found a golden page in the innermost jade box. Chen Tianqi was delighted. This was the complete book of the Kingate sword art. Then he picked up a book of intermediate talismans and looked at Li Huayin. "Master, I have already chosen these two." Li Huayin looked at the golden page and the intermediate talisman collection, and felt pain in his heart. He nodded without changing his expression. "Now that we have chosen, let's go out." When they got to the hall, Li Huayin looked at Chen Tianqi with a serious face. "From today on, you are my disciple, Li Huayin. I hope you will practice diligently in the future, don't do evil things, and don't ruin my reputation." Chen Tianqi responded seriously. "Disciple will remember what master said." Li Huayin's expression relaxed, and then the master and disciple chatted for a while, and then Chen Tianqi stood up and said goodbye. Chapter 12. After leaving Li Huayin's cave, Chen Tianqi went to the Gongfa Pavilion of Huangfeng Valley to take the incomplete Kingate sword art, because the golden page can only be activated by practicing the mana of Kingate sword art. Chen Tianqi got the incomplete Gongfa with the qualification of free Gongfa in the foundation building period, and at the same time, he did not forget to ask the disciples in the valley about Han Li's news. He learned from a disciple in the Earth Fire Room that Han Li is now in the Earth Fire Room, claiming to be refining pills. But Chen Tianqi knew that he was quietly building a foundation in it, and then surprised everyone. Calculating the time in this way, it is not far from the invasion of the Magic Way. Returning to Linquan Cave, Chen Tianqi found that the spiritual energy in the practice room was getting thicker and thicker, and the fluctuation of mana gradually reached the foundation building period. He knew in his heart that he was going to succeed in building the foundation. So Chen Tianqi sat in the hall, brewed the spiritual tea that he took from Chen Ming, picked up the jade slip from the storage bag, and slowly tasted it. Half a day later, the door of the practice room was opened, and Chen Tianqi walked out happily, and a beautiful figure appeared in front of Chen Tianqi. Her beautiful hair was slightly flying, her slender eyebrows were long, her eyes were charming, and her nose was straight. Her cheeks were slightly flushed, her lips were delicate and beautiful, her face was as white as snow and as translucent as jade, her skin was as white as jade and beautiful, her figure was petite, and she was gentle and graceful. Seeing Chen Tianqi standing in the hall, she hurried forward, took 2 steps at a time, and hugged him tightly, murmuring about her love sickness. Chen Tianqi hugged her slender waist and said softly, "My little lady is finally out of confinement. Let me see if she has become prettier again." Chen Tianqi shyly leaned her fair and rosy face into Chen Tianqi's arms. 3 days later, "My husband is not gentle with women at all," Chen Tianqi chuckled. This can't be blamed entirely on Chen Tianqi. Chen Tianqi gently stroked Chen Tianqi's jade back, lowered his head and whispered softly in her ear. "This is all your fault." Chen Tianqi rolled her eyes shyly and patted Chen Tianqi's chest. Likeable, so shameless. The formation outside the cave was in turmoil. Then Chen Tianqi put on his clothes with a dark face, quickly put on his equipment, and rushed out of the cave. He was determined to destroy the person who disturbed the beautiful things. Outside the formation of the cave, there was a large number of puppets. There were several people standing on the head of a huge beast-shaped puppet. The leader saw Chen Tianqi coming out and spoke arrogantly. "You finally came out. I'll give you 2 choices, follow us obediently, or, minus, I choose you to be paralyzed." Chen Tianqi's face was full of anger, and a blazing laser beam shot out from his eyes, instantly piercing through the leading monk. This sudden attack made the others stunned in place. Before they could react to the counterattack, the Star Phantom sword followed, and a few sword lights flashed by, and several people instantly turned into Shuangyang. Chen Tianqi stood on the air, looking at the scattered corpses, cursing them from their ancestors to the present, and just wanted to put away their storage bags. The roar of thunder and lightning sounded in the distance, followed by a lightning flash, which stopped in the air and gathered into a figure. Chen Tianqi looked carefully and saw that it was the obese Lei Wan. He quickly covered his chest with a weak face. Junior nephew pays respect to Master Lei. He could not help but slander in his heart, "You didn't come when they attacked the formation, but now that I have dealt with it and am ready to collect the spoils, you have arrived." This old man should not have seen me take action. Lei Wan narrowed his eyes. "It turned out to be you, kid. I didn't expect you to be so powerful. You were able to deal with these people from the Kaiansu sect so quickly. I don't deserve it, it's just luck. I'm just an equipment refiner. I use the power of formations and magic weapons to solve them. I'm not good at killing." Chen Tianqi coughed and said with a hollow face. It seemed that he had been exhausted after a fierce battle. Lei Wan looked at the weak Chen Tianqi, not knowing whether he was really weak or not. After all, it was not easy for a mid-stage foundation-building cultivator to fight against several foundation-building cultivators. Then he took out a bottle of healing pills and handed it over. "It seems that you have been through a fierce battle, so you should keep this bottle of medicine to heal your wounds." Lei Wan looked at the puppets all over the ground and the changes in the situation outside the Yellow Maple Valley in recent days. He already had the answer in his mind and turned to warn Chen Tianqi. "You have rarely been out of the Yellow Maple Valley recently, because your reputation as a master of weapon refining has spread more and more widely in other countries' cultivation circles, and these demons are waiting for you to go out and kidnap you. But I didn't expect them to be so rampant that they actually wanted to run into the Yellow Maple Valley to kidnap people." Then Lei Wan smiled at Chen Tianqi and said, "Fortunately, you are fine, otherwise I would really be sorry to junior brother Li. Master Lei, you are too kind. Please keep these evil thieves' things and hand them over to the sect." Chen Tianqi picked up the scattered storage bags and handed them to Lei Wan. Lei Wan rolled his eyes when he heard this, and then turned into lightning and left. His voice lingered in Chen Tianqi's mind. "I don't need your things, so keep them for yourself. Say hello to your master for me." Chapter 13. Chen Tianqi did not start to clean up the battlefield until Lei Wan's figure completely disappeared. Looking at the puppets scattered all over the ground, most of them were key training puppets, and there were a few foundation-building puppets. Chen Tianqi quickly put them all into the storage bag. Looking at the several storage bags full of harvest, he felt sad. Then he used magic to bury the limbs all over the ground, and then turned back to the cave. Seeing Chen Tianqi return to the cave, Chen Tianqian hurried forward to ask husband, "Are you okay?" "What are they?" "Don't worry, Tianqian, they are just a few evil thieves." Then Chen Tianqi told her the general process of the incident and warned Chen Tianqian to reduce her outings to Huangfeng Valley. Chen Tianqian was indignant when she heard this. "These demons were so arrogant that they even thought of kidnapping my husband from Huangfeng Valley." Chen Tianqi touched her fair and rosy cheeks and comforted her in a gentle voice. "Well, I'm fine now, and Master Lei also arrived in time and understood the situation. I'm sure that Huangfeng Valley will take action against them soon." The two of them were affectionate for a moment, and took out the incomplete Kingate sword art, allowing Chen Tianqian to practice the technique while consolidating her newly improved cultivation. Chen Tianqi came to the refining room and took out the several storage bags he had obtained. After several counts, there were a total of more than 20 key training puppets, 4 foundation building puppets, and more than a dozen bottles of elixirs for foundation building practice. The most exciting thing was that Chen Tianqi saw a jade slip, and immediately picked up the jade slip and explored it with his spiritual sense. Chen Tianqi's spiritual sense entered the jade slip, and immediately saw 3 golden characters Danju. Danju is a technique that can only be practiced by the leader of the Kaiansu sect and the leader's direct disciples. It seems that one of the people who were killed may be a direct disciple. Chen Tianqi thought secretly, and then took a rough look at the technique. This technique has only 4 levels, and its main function is to continuously strengthen the divine consciousness by splitting the divine consciousness. There is also a scripture of the true explanation of puppetry attached to the technique, which is full of teachings on how to make puppets and puppet beasts at various stages of refining. But to control so many puppets, one must practice the great derivation technique and split the spiritual consciousness. Looking at this great derivation technique, Chen Tianqi was very happy. The reason was not that he had found a method that could improve spiritual consciousness, because his heaven and earth furnace could also improve his own spiritual consciousness and strengthen his soul. What made him happy was that he could finally drive a Gundam. As a young man in the new era, who hasn't had a mecha dream, Chen Tianqi planned to practice this great derivation technique well, and then combine it with the Kryptonian technology encyclopedia to create a large army of mecha puppets. Aren't they much more handsome than the puppets and puppet beasts in the traditional world of immortal cultivation? Thinking of this, Chen Tianqi copied several copies of the great derivation technique, intending to give one to Chen Tianqi and trade the other with Han Li. Then he took out all the puppets, and took out the refining materials from his own storage bag, ready to resmelt them and make mecha figures. 3 months later, Chen Tianqi looked at the two tall mechas standing in front of him. One mecha puppet had a flowing metal texture on its surface. It was covered with armor decorated with silver, black and red. There were 2 dark red axes on its head, with a red energy core embedded in the middle, and a sledgehammer in its hand. The other mecha puppet was a beast-shaped mecha. It also had a flowing metal texture on its surface. It was silver, black and yellow, shaped like a crocodile. It held a long moon-shaped blade in its hand, with an energy core embedded in the middle. If energy is put into their energy cores, they can fight automatically according to the program set by Chen Tianqi in advance. But energy is not easy to find. Ordinary spirit stones can be used as energy, but the consumption is too large and the cost effectiveness is not high. Only by finding the best spirit stones can the puppets operate on their own for a long time. Otherwise, they have to rely on their own consciousness to control the battle. Chen Tianqi was not in a hurry. Looking at the 2 figurines that looked like handicrafts, he nodded with joy on his face, and then used the great evolution technique to control the mecha puppets with his consciousness. The 2 mecha puppets moved according to Chen Tianqi's thoughts, raising their hands and feet from time to time, and even performing a set of military boxing. He controlled them to conduct a PK in the imperial city, thinking to himself, it is much more handsome than the traditional puppet, and its strength has reached the late stage of foundation building. Then Chen Tianqi took the mecha puppet in his hand, played with it for a while, and walked out of the refining room. After leaving the refining room, Chen Tianqi called Chen Tianqi out again, saying that he wanted to give her a gift, and handed her a jade slip. Tianqi, this is a method for cultivating spiritual consciousness. Try to see if you can practice it. If you can, remember to take the time to practice it well. It will be good for you. Then he asked again, what level have you reached in practicing the Kingilt sword technique? Chen Tianqi was surprised to hear that it was a technique for cultivating spiritual consciousness. She was no longer a novice in cultivating immortals. She also knew the value of practicing spiritual consciousness techniques. She was immediately moved. Husband, I will work hard to practice. I have also reached the 3rd level of Kingilt sword art. Chen Tianqi used his spiritual sense to feel the fluctuations of the mana on Chen Tianqi's body. It was indeed the 3rd level, and his cultivation was just 1 step away from the middle stage of foundation building. Then he took out a golden page. Tianqi used the Kingilt sword technique to attack this golden leaf. Chen Tianqi heard it and did not doubt it. She used the Kingilt sword technique to bombard the golden leaf. When the power of the Kingilt sword technique continued to erode the golden leaf suddenly turned into tadpole characters and flowed into Chen Tianqi's mind. Chen Tianqi screamed, and Chen Tianqi immediately hugged her. After a while, Chen Tianqi slowly opened her eyes and looked at Chen Tianqi with joy and emotion. She got a copy of the Kingilt sword technique that can be practiced to the stage of transformation, and it also came with a method of making subsequent magic weapons. Then Chen Tianqi spoke tenderly. How can I repay you for the great gift my husband has given me? Chen Tianqi smiled and said nothing. Chapter 14. 10 days later. After taking a bath and burning incense, Chen Tianqi gathered his breath and prepared to go to Beiji Hall to receive a mission. Although you don't need to do missions frequently during the foundation building period, you still have to complete a sect mission every few years. As soon as he left the cave, he received a voice transmission card, PS, equivalent to the immortal version of pigeon messaging. His spiritual sense probed in, and the next moment he heard Han Peo's voice. Senior Brother Chen, Han Li has succeeded in building his foundation by chance. I have already refined the elixir for you. Please come to the cave to get it when you are free." Then Chen Tianqi took back the voice transmission card and decided to go to Beiji Hall to receive the task first, and then go to Han Li's cave. Chen Tianqi drove the Qingyuan boat at a high speed, and the scenery in front of him kept passing by. In a short while, Chen Tianqi arrived at Beiji Hall. The foundation building elder in charge of Beiji Hall was Master Lu Yunfei, who robbed Han Li's foundation building pill that day. It is worth mentioning that after Chen Tianqi came to this world, Lu Yunfei, who had nothing to do with Chen Tianqi, still disappeared in the end. It seems that it was Han Laomo who took action. Seeing Chen Tianqi flying over, Yi Laodeng hurried forward to ask junior brother Chen, "How come you have time to come to Beiji Hall today?" As a disciple of Li Huan, and a famous master of refining in the world of immortal cultivation, Chen Tianqi is still very famous in Huangfeng Valley. Chen Tianqi himself looked down on this old man, but still responded politely. "Senior brother Yi, I have entered the foundation building stage for several years. It is time to complete a sect mission. I wonder if there is a mission suitable for me now." Yi Laodeng naturally would not neglect it. He took out a jade book and flipped through a few pages. There just happened to be a joint mission to inspect the ore field. Chen Tianqi heard this and thought, could this be the mine with the ancient teleportation array? Then he asked calmly, "I wonder which mine this inspection mission is for." It is a spiritual stone mine jointly managed by Lingxiao Mountain, Yanaiyu sect, and our Huangfeng Valley. When Chen Tianqi heard this, he immediately realized that there was a high probability that it was that mine. He was delighted and spoke without changing his expression. "That's it, thank you for troubling me, senior brother Yi." Yi Laodeng nodded immediately, then registered Chen Tianqi's name, bowed and said, "Please, junior brother Chen, gather at the square in front of the Beiji Hall in 3 days." Chen Tianqi bowed, thanked him and left. Then he drove the Qingyuan boat to Han Peo's cave, ready to collect the elixir and make another deal. After 1 or 2 incense sticks, Chen Tianqi arrived outside Han Li's cave. Looking at the cave surrounded by the formation, which was full of spiritual energy, Chen Tianqi saw that this was the inverted 5 elements formation. It seemed that Xin Ruiyin and the others had refined a new inverted 5 elements formation disk. They had to find time to update the formation. Chen Tianqi sent a voice transmission, and within a moment, Han Peo flew out, bowed and said, "Senior brother Chen, you are so welcome. I didn't come out to greet you in time. Please forgive me." Chen Tianqi waved his hand, showing that he didn't care at all. "Junior brother Han, don't say such things in the future. You have also become master's disciple, and we will be a family from now on." Then Chen Tianqi and Han Li walked into the cave with a smile. In the cave, the two sat opposite each other. Han Peo brewed a pot of tea, poured a cup for Chen Tianqi, and then took out more than a dozen bottles of pills and handed them to him. Chen Tianqi looked at the many extra pills and spoke in confusion. "Junior brother, you gave me too much," Han Peo said seriously. "Senior brother, please don't be polite. I was able to survive in this blood-forbidden land thanks to the magic weapon you gave me. I didn't expect that the magic weapon you made would be so powerful. If it hadn't saved my life at the critical moment, Han Li wouldn't have come out alive and completed the foundation building, so this little pill is not worth mentioning." Han Peo stood up again and bowed. Chen Tianqi looked at Han Peo in this posture and couldn't help but sigh in his heart that the anime version of Han Peo was much more humane than the novel version. "Brother Han, you don't have to do this. Even without my magic weapon, I believe you can walk out alive and complete the foundation building." Chen Tianqi stood up and asked Han Peo to sit down. Then Chen Tianqi took the pill, drank a sip of tea, looked at Han Peo and began to ask, "I heard that junior brother Han is practicing the Qingyuan sword technique. I wonder what level he has reached." Han Peo sighed. "Thank you for your concern, senior brother. I have already practiced a Qingyuan sword technique to the 4th level. Junior brother, I didn't know that this incomplete technique could not be practiced to the 4th level, which has put me in a dilemma now." "Don't worry, junior brother Han. I happen to have the complete copy of a Qingyuan sword art here. As long as you agree to help me, I will give it to you." Han Peo was delighted when he heard that there was a complete copy of a Qingyuan sword art. He asked hurriedly, "May I ask what you want me to do, brother, as long as you promise to do me 3 favors in the future?" and refine some cultivation pills for me every once in a while." Chen Tianqi smiled and wanted to get some money, and then took out 2 jade slips containing the Kingate sword art and the Dayan art. "Junior brother, don't feel wronged. Take a look at whether this Kingate sword art is worth it. I also give you a method for cultivating spiritual consciousness here." Han Pao heard it, picked up the jade slip of Kingate sword art, and probed it with spiritual consciousness. After a long time, Han Pao opened his eyes, his mind moved, and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. He looked at Chen Tianqi in surprise. "Senior brother Chen, this technique can actually be cultivated to the spiritual transformation stage, and it also comes with a method for forging magic weapons." Then he looked puzzled. "But you really don't need this technique, brother," Chen Tianqi laughed. "I don't have wood spiritual roots, so I can't practice cultivation. I can only do you a favor." Han Pao thought for a moment after hearing this, and then agreed. "I agreed to my request. If you need my help in the future, please tell me. Of course, as long as I have time to refine the pills, I will send you a batch." Han Pao happily accepted the Kingate sword art jade slip. And then he checked another jade slip and found that it was really a method for cultivating spiritual consciousness. He smiled so hard that he couldn't close his mouth. The two of them had a long talk afterwards. Chen Tianqi taught him the experience of cultivating in the foundation building period, and the two of them immediately became closer. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15. 3 days later, Chen Tianqi sat cross-legged in the weapon refining room, playing with a mecha puppet in his hands. During these 3 days, Chen Tianqi learned an additional intermediate spell, Golden Blade, to be on the safe side for today's mission, and also prepared to bring the array plate to reverse the 5 elements array. Then he thought of something and opened the system panel name, Chen Tianqi Sects, Male Age. 23/360 Spiritual Roots, Fire, Gold Bloodline, Kryptonian, Civilian Template, Physique, Kryptonian Physique, Pure Yang Body Skills, Kryptonian Superpowers, 5 Elements Basic Spells, Fire Dragon Bomb, Intermediate Spell, Golden Blade, Intermediate Spell, Weapon Refiner, Weapon Level, Golden Will Burning Heaven Art, Heaven and Earth Furnace, Concealing Heaven Art, Great Evolution Art Realm, Peak of the Mid-Stage of Foundation Building. Number of draws 0. Number of crossings 1. Items, Kryptonian Technology Encyclopedia, Star Phantom Sword, King Iron Boat, Black Armor Shield, and other magic tools, Reversed 5 Elements Formation, 5 Elements Sealing Formation, 2 Mecha Puppets. Chen Tianqi looked at the opportunity to travel through time, and a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. He did not intend to use this opportunity to travel through time now. It would be better to wait until the late stage of Jinden, or even the Yuanying stage, or when he encountered life-threatening danger. Because Chen Tianqi had already asked the system, the world he traveled to was completely random. What if he traveled through time without being prepared, and went to places like Eternal Life, Perfect World, Warhammer Universe, DC and Marvel Zombie Universe? These places are full of big guys, and if you are not prepared, you will really be in trouble. So for Chen Tianqi, the most important thing now is to quickly improve his cultivation, and then open up a new map, the Chaos Star Sea. Compared with the Chaos Star Sea, Xianan's resources are really scarce, with only a few more ores. In the square in front of the Beiji Hall stood Yi Laodan, who was in charge of the Beiji Hall, a pretty boy wearing Yan'yu sect clothing and whose cultivation had reached the late stage of foundation building, and a bin man wearing Lingxiao mountain clothing and whose cultivation had reached the middle stage of foundation building. The three were talking. Fellow Taoist Zhang, the master of the weapon refining in the Yellow Maple Valley, is really arrogant. He made us wait for so long. Yi Laodeng was also nearby. Hearing this, he hurriedly explained, Taoist friend, please don't misunderstand. It's not time yet. Maybe junior brother Chen is busy and has been delayed. The pretty boy looked impatient and was about to say something when he saw Chen Tianqi flying over from a distance. Seeing Chen Tianqi coming, the big man happily responded. Fellow Taoist Chen, you are finally here. I have been waiting anxiously for a long time. I have wanted to meet you for a long time. The big man spoke with a northeastern accent and then said, my name is Zhang Tinyu, and this is Taoist Baiyun. Chen Tianqi bowed, glanced at Bai Yun, and then said apologetically, "Fellow Taoist Zhang, fellow Taoist Bai, I'm really sorry, I forgot the time for refining weapons for the sect." Bai Yun saw him talking about the sect, curled his lips in disdain and stood aside, saying nothing more. Zhang Tiniu laughed and pulled Chen Tianqi to chat, and even wanted Chen Tianqi to refine a few magic weapons for him. Yi Laotang looked at the two people who were talking harmoniously, and Bai Yun who was standing aside with an imposing manner, and knew that the atmosphere was not right. He coughed and quickly spoke, "Since all the Taoist friends are here, I will tell you about the mission in detail, and then we will set off." Yi Laodang described the mission in detail, which was that several people had to drive away potential monsters around the Spirit Stone mine, check the speed and quantity of Spirit Stone mining, and then register the number of Spirit Stones of each sect and bring them back to the sect. Yi Laotang also emphasized that the number of accounts in the mine was recorded, and the Spirit Stones must not be embezzled, and must be brought back intact. After speaking, from an angle that Chen Tianqi could not see, Yi Laodang gave Zhang Tiniu a look, and Zhang Tiniu immediately understood. Then Chen Tianqi and the other two agreed, and took the spaceship issued by the sect to go to the Spirit Stone mine. The spaceship sent by the sect was extremely fast, but the mine was far away and it took 2 days to reach them. Chen Tianqi and the other two arrived at the station in front of a huge spiritual stone mine. The foundation building monk Liu Bowen, who was stationed there to guard the mine, had been waiting for a long time. "Fellow Taoists, I am sorry that you have come from afar," Zhang Tiniu laughed. "Dao Liu, there is no need to be so formal. We are all family." Then Zhang Tiniu walked towards the camp with Liu Bowen on his shoulders and asked Chen Tianqi and the others to follow. Not long after, Liu Bowen hosted a dinner and proposed to welcome them and start the mission early the next morning. Chen Tianqi and the others naturally agreed and were then taken away by his men to rest. Zhang Tiniu continued to chat happily with Liu Bowen. The next morning, Chen Tianqi came to the center of the camp early to wait. After everyone was together, Liu Bowen took Chen Tianqi and the others to the Spirit Stone mine. Entering the Spirit Stone mine, Liu Bowen told us about the number of Spirit Stones produced recently and a new monster that was born nearby. Accompanied by him, the inspection task was completed quickly. There were no accidents and everything was normal. Then we came to the warehouse where the Spirit Stones were stored. As soon as the warehouse was opened, the shining blue-white light came into people's eyes, and the spiritual energy rushed straight to their faces. Looking at the countless Spirit Stones, a trace of greed flashed in the eyes of the people present, but they soon regained their calm. Liu Bowen pointed to the Spirit Stones that filled the warehouse. "The things in this storeroom are the spiritual stones that you will take back to your sect." Then he took out an account book and bowed. "Fellow Taoists, please put the Spirit Stones into the storage bags issued by your respective sects according to the number in the account book." Hearing this, Chen Tianqi and others took out the storage bags issued by their sects and prepared to put the mine's Spirit Stones into the storage bags. The storage bag has a restriction set by the giant and stage cultivators, which only allows things to be put in, but not taken out. After the Spirit Stones were loaded, the warehouse returned to its original dimness. After Chen Tianqi and others walked out of the warehouse, Liu Bowen's face was full of spring breeze. Seeing that Liu Bowen was obviously much happier, Chen Tianqi understood it in his heart. Guarding the Spirit Stone mine is indeed a very lucrative job, but when the number of Spirit Stones accumulates to a certain level, people will start to worry. Once the Spirit Stones are plundered, it is unknown whether other people will die, but the guards will definitely die, so Liu Bowen is in such a good mood. Liu Bowen chatted with Zhang Tiniu in high spirits, walked out of the mine, and then took out 3 storage bags with a smile and handed them to Chen Tianqi and others. "Fellow Taoists, please continue to work hard tomorrow to eliminate the newly appeared foundation building Wolf King on the west side of the mine. This is a small gift from Liu, please accept it." Bai Yun took the storage bag and said proudly, "It's just a little wolf. Tomorrow, I will kill it with Zhang Dao." Then he said to Chen Tianqi in a sarcastic tone, "As for fellow Taoist Chen, just refine a few more magical instruments and make more contributions to the sect. After all, you only know how to refine instruments, right?" Zhang Tiniu heard this and quickly came up to smooth things over. "Don't mind it, brother Chen. Bai Yun is just like that. Just treat his words as bullshit." Liu Bowen saw that Bai Yun didn't like Chen Tianqi in the past few days, but he didn't expect him to be like this suddenly, so he hurried to smooth things over. I just remembered that 1 or 2 people go missing in the mine every year. Why don't you go to the depths of the mine tomorrow to investigate the situation?" When Chen Tianqi heard this, a gleam flashed in his eyes. He ignored Bai Yun's ridicule, saying, "He's just a clown." He pretended not to care and waved his hand to Liu Bowen and Zhang Tinu. Just as Taoist Bai said, "I am just an equipment refiner who can only refine equipment, not good at killing. I will follow Taoist Liu's suggestion and go to the depths of the mine to explore tomorrow." Liu Bowen was relieved to see Chen Tianqi agreed. The atmosphere was finally not so awkward, and then he continued the conversation happily. Chapter 16. The next morning, Zhang Tinu and his partner went to the West Woods to look for the Wolf King, while Chen Tianqi was taken to the entrance of the mine by Liu Bowen. Liu Bowen pointed at the entrance and said to Chen Tianqi with a smile, "Fellow Taoist Chen, the passages in this mine are extremely complex, and my spiritual awareness cannot extend out, so I just need to go into the cave and check it out. I have explored it before, but found nothing. If you encounter any danger, please leave immediately." Chen Tianqi accepted his kindness, bowed his hands, and thanked him. "Thank you for telling me, fellow Taoist Liu. I will listen to you and explore around." Just like that, Chen Tianqi entered the mine. After walking for a while, Chen Tianqi stretched out his spiritual sense, but found that it was indeed restricted and could not be released at all. Then he released a beast-shaped mecha puppet and asked it to explore the way ahead. It was unknown how long he had walked along the way. He passed several forks on the road, and many of the choices were dead ends. Finally, Chen Tianqi saw a wide natural cave through the puppet that was exploring the way ahead. He was delighted and realized that this was the location of the teleportation array. Chen Tianqi hurriedly walked into the cave, looked around, released another mecha puppet, and summoned a black armor shield to surround his body. After walking for a while, Chen Tianqi saw from a distance that there was an ancient hexagonal teleportation array in the depths, and he was immediately delighted to escape and fly over. Suddenly, a black shadow fell from above the cave. Chen Tianqi changed to the black armor shield in time to block the attack, and his figure after flying back a dozen steps, what came into view was a transparent jade-white spider with blood-red eyes. Chen Tianqi had just taken back the puppet, ready to test his physical strength head-on. The blood jade spider roared at Chen Tianqi, and in the blink of an eye it ran in front of Chen Tianqi, swinging its claws. Chen Tianqi held a black armor shield to block the claws, then his muscles bulged, he took a few steps back, and suddenly pushed forward. Instantly, the face of the blood jade spider was smashed into a bloody mess, and its huge body flew backwards, piercing through several tall stone cones and was buried in them. The blood jade spider's aura soared, blasting the stone apart, opening its bloody mouth, and roaring at Chen Tianqi angrily. The aura on its body became higher and higher, approaching the peak of foundation building, and its skin turned blood red. Without waiting for the blood jade spider to complete its transformation, Chen Tianqi summoned the star phantom sword, held it in his hand to activate the energy core, and flew towards it. It went away, then burst out with all its strength and stabbed downward. The blood jade spider raised its front pair of claws to resist, but it was too late. Boom, there was a loud roar, the ground cracked, and smoke and dust billowed. After the smoke and dust dissipated, the blood jade spider fell under a large pit, its body pierced through the middle and split in half. Chen Tianqi frowned as he looked at the incomplete body of the blood jade spider. He didn't expect his own strength to be so terrifying. The value of the material was reduced a little. Then he took away the body of the blood jade spider, but it was a pity that he didn't learn the soul pulling technique. So the essence could not be extracted. Chen Tianqi packed up the spoils and came to the front of the ancient teleportation array. On one side of the teleportation array, a 5-colored skeleton was sitting cross-legged with a token in his hand. Chen Tianqi picked up the great teleportation token and put it into the storage bag, and then shot a firebomb at the skeleton. The raging fire quickly burned the skeleton to ashes, and the fire. After the flames went out, 7 or 8 colorful peels were left. Chen Tianqi knew that this was the Butyandan that could strengthen the spiritual root qualifications. Chen Tianqi did not hesitate and collected them all. Then he looked around the teleportation array and found that a piece was broken. He immediately took out a blank jade slit and recorded the array, preparing to let Xin Ruan repair the array. After doing all this, Chen Tianqi remembered that there were still 2 blood jade spider eggs. He searched the cave and finally found 2 fist-sized, red spider eggs behind a stone pillar. Chen Tianqi carefully put the 2 eggs into the storage bag. These 2 eggs were the key to fighting for the treasure of Zushan Palace. Chen Tianqi walked out of the cave. In order to prevent others from discovering this place, he arranged an inverted 5-element array at the entrance of the cave. Even a giant cultivator could not tell that there was a cave here. As soon as Chen Tianqi walked out of the mine, he saw Liu Bowen flying down. Liu Bowen saw Chen Tianqi and immediately stepped forward and asked in confusion, "Fellow Taoist Chen, you took so long. Fellow Taoist Zhang and the others came back after killing the Wolf King, and you just came out. Did something unexpected happen?" "I'm sorry, fellow Taoist Liu, the mine tunnel is extremely complicated, and my spiritual awareness can't be expanded, so I got lost for a while," Chen Tianqi bowed and replied with a smile. Liu Bowen didn't doubt him, because he himself got lost in there, and smiled. Then, "Fellow Taoist Chen, please come back to the camp with me to attend the dinner. Today, you will have a treat and get to taste the flavor of a wolf demon in the foundation building stage." Chen Tianqi smiled and nodded, and then the 2 flew back to the camp. As soon as they entered the camp, they saw many guards roasting more than a dozen skinned wolves on the fire, sprinkling some spices from time to time. The largest wolf was personally coated with sauce by Zhang Tinyu, and the roasted aroma was delicious. Zhang Tinyu saw Chen Tianqi and Liu Bowen coming, put down his tools, and greeted them with a laugh. "Brother Chen, Brother Liu, you are finally here. Come and taste the Wolf King that Brother Bai and I killed." Chen Tianqi and Liu Bowen were brought to the fire by Zhang Tinyu. Zhang Tinyu tore off 2 thighs and handed them to Chen Tianqi and the others. Chen Tianqi took the wolf leg and took a bite. The meaty aroma instantly bloomed in his mouth. It was very delicious. He finished eating a wolf leg in less than a moment. His blood and ki surged, and his body became stronger. Chen Tianqi looked at Zhang Tinyu in surprise. "Fellow Taoist Zhang, the bloodline of this Wolf King is not simple, just a wolf leg. I feel that my body has been strengthened a lot." Zhang Tinyu laughed and patted Chen Tianqi on the shoulder. "Brother Chen asked the point. This Wolf King is definitely not an ordinary monster. It has the blood of the Howling Moon Wolf." Liu Bowen exclaimed in surprise when he heard the Howling Moon Wolf. "Howling Moon Wolf? This is a demon beast in the Jinden stage?" Zhang Tinyu laughed. The Wolf King was seriously injured and his realm fell to the late stage of foundation building. Only then did we have a chance to kill it. Then he changed the subject. "Brother Liu, Brother Chen, don't be polite to me, eat more." Liu Bowen thanked him cheerfully and quickly took another piece of meat. Chen Tianqi did not move. Even if he ate a whole head, the enhancement effect was not obvious. He looked around, frowned, and asked in confusion, "Isn't Brother Bai coming to taste it?" Zhang Tinyu swallowed a piece of meat. "Brother Bai was injured and is healing. Brother Chen, don't worry, he is not someone who will suffer a loss, he got the demon pill." Liu Bowen also nodded. Fellow Taoist Chen is really broad-minded and cares about fellow Taoist Bai's whereabouts. Chen Tianqi smiled and waved his hand, then bowed and said, "My 2 Taoist friends, it is getting late. We have to return to the sect early tomorrow morning to report. I will go back to my room to rest first." Without waiting for them to say anything, Chen Tianqi turned around and left. Chapter 17. After Chen Tianqi returned to the door, he pinched a pen and hid it, and then took out 2 puppets from the storage bag to guard the door. After doing all this, he sat cross-legged on the bed, thinking back to the scene just now, vaguely feeling that something was wrong, and his intuition told him that there was something wrong with Zhang Tinyu. After thinking for a long time, he still couldn't think of the answer, so he gave up thinking and prepared to practice meditation. After all, if you encounter danger, you can run away if you can't win. The next morning, as soon as the sun rose, Chen Tianqi walked out of the door early, told Liu Bowen, and left in a hurry. Chen Tianqi was driving the Qingyuan boat at high speed. To ensure safety, he did not follow the common route back to Huangfeng Valley, but chose to take a long detour. When flying over a forest, Chen Tianqi, who was concentrating on speeding up the Qingyuan boat, suddenly felt a huge demonic energy rushing towards the Qingyuan boat under his feet. As soon as he summoned the mysterious armor shield, he saw a huge snake head slamming into the Qingyuan boat, directly knocking the Qingyuan boat down to the bottom of the forest. Chen Tianqi quickly stabilized his body in the air. Chen Tianqi took out a star phantom sword, surrounded by the mysterious armor shield, looked at the huge python monster below, and shouted loudly, "May I ask which Taoist friend you are, who is blocking the road and robbing people?" A hearty voice came from the woods, and then the figure jumped onto the snake's head and laughed loudly. Brother Chen, you forgot about me after just a while. The person who came was Zhang Tianqi. Chen Tianqi asked expressionlessly. Fellow Taoist Zhang, how did you find me? I remember we have never been enemies, right? Why are you stopping me here? Zhang Tianqi patted his head and answered with a smile. Oops, Brother Chen, you left in such a hurry that I forgot I had something to tell you. As for how to find you, isn't it simple? Then his expression changed and he said with a ferocious smile, Brother Chen, you are so cautious. I brought you a wolf demon with the blood of the howling moon wolf, but you left without saying goodbye and didn't take the usual route. I really disappointed you. If I hadn't left a special mark on your shoulder to track you, you would have gotten away. Chen Tianqi heard this and looked at his shoulder. His spiritual sense swept over it and he found a particularly hidden mark. If he didn't use his spiritual sense to carefully explore it, he wouldn't have found it at all. He immediately erased the mark, looked at Zhang Tianqi with a sharp look, and asked, Taoist Zhang is blocking my way here. Are you trying to steal the spirit stones from my sect? Zhang Tianqi took out a human head from his storage bag, and that head was Baiyun, and then said to Chen Tianqi, it's not about this, but a few of my seniors want to meet you, and by the way, they want you to help us practice weapons or something. The reward is the head of my subordinate. Brother Chen, don't reject my intention. Chen Tianqi glanced at Baiyun's head and snorted coldly. Fellow Taoist Zhang is really good at this. He can easily kill a person in the late stage of foundation building. Zhang Tianqi smiled proudly. This Baiyun is so arrogant. I've been annoyed with him for a long time. Besides, he has offended you, so I want to help you kill him. So you better come with me obediently. I just don't understand. There are so many weapon refiners in the world, why must they look for me? Chen Tianqi was puzzled and felt very puzzled. Zhang Tianqi laughed when he heard this. Brother Chen, do you really not know? The top-grade magic weapon you refine can exert half the power of a magic weapon. If we get you, our demon army will have fewer casualties when invading the 7 sects. Demonic Dao. You, Spirit Beast Mountain, actually betrayed us. Chen Tianqi pretended to be surprised. What is betrayal? We are acknowledging our ancestors. Before Zhang Tianqi finished speaking, a sword light slashed directly at him. Zhang Tianqi hurriedly summoned a turtle monster and quickly blocked it in front of him. The moment the sword light touched the turtle shell, the turtle monster instantly exploded, and blood splashed on Zhang Tianqi's face. The sword light was greatly reduced at this time, but it did not stop. It directly shattered Zhang Tianqi's spiritual shield, and Zhang Tianqi was immediately knocked back by the impact. Zhang Tianqi stabilized his body, looked at the sword in Chen Tianqi's hand with the greedy eyes, and laughed strangely. Hey, this is the best magic weapon, right? Sure enough, the boss didn't misjudge you. It killed my little turtle in the early stage of foundation building with one move, then he soared into the sky, summoned a huge red brocade bird, and called on the python monster to attack, shouting loudly, Brother Chen, you should join my magic way and follow me obediently. Chen Tianqi frowned as he looked at the 2 beasts and one person rushing towards him. He felt troubled. He just wanted to practice honestly, but someone always came to provoke him. These people failed once and came a second time. It seems that there will be a chance to destroy them all in the future. With this in mind, the red brocade bird was known for its speed. It flew in front of Chen Tianqi in an instant, raised its sharp claws, and grabbed Chen Tianqi. Chen Tianqi looked at it expressionlessly. This speed was a bit slow for his dynamic vision. Then he raised his hand to grab its claws, his muscles bulged, turned around and swung hard, smashing the red brocade bird towards the python that had just flown up and was about to open its bloody mouth. The 2 beasts were bombarded by the huge force and fell to the woods on one side. For Zhang Tianqi, who was rushing over, this was just in the blink of an eye. He saw his spirit beast being knocked down, and he was shocked. He quickly stopped and sacrificed a golden bell to cover Chen Tianqi directly. Seeing that he had trapped Chen Tianqi successfully, Zhang Tianqi used his consciousness to call his spirit beasts. The red brocade bird and the python were forcibly awakened by Zhang Tianqi. But the bodies of the 2 beasts were injured to varying degrees. The python's mouth was directly smashed in half, and the red brocade bird was even worse. The other half of its body was broken so badly that its internal organs could be seen under the violent impact. But Zhang Tianqi did not pay attention to the injuries of his own spirit beast. Instead, he used a secret method. Suddenly, Two red lights flew out of Zhang Tinyu's body and merged into the bodies of the two spirit beasts. The two spirit beasts' auras soared in an instant, and their appearances changed drastically. The red brocade bird grew sharp teeth in its mouth, and black flames wrapped around its body. The scales of the python. It turned shiny black, more ferocious, and its injuries were completely healed. Its eyes glowed red, and a tyrannical aura was blowing in its face. At this time, Chen Tianqi kept bombarding the golden bell with both fists, and with a full-strength punch, the golden bell shattered. Zhang Tinyu looked at the broken magic weapon, his heart bleeding, and cursed Chen Tianqi. His spiritual consciousness drove the spirit beast to attack, and he also pinched the magic formula in his hand and began to cast spells. The two spirit beasts, whose appearances had changed greatly, roared violently and rushed towards Chen Tianqi. Chen Tianqi summoned the black armor shield to enlarge it, and pushed forward to withstand the attack of the red brocade bird. The python beast's attack followed, opening its bloody mouth and trying to swallow Chen Tianqi. Chen Tianqi did not dodge, but picked up the star phantom sword and rushed into its mouth. The python beast that swallowed Chen Tianqi had just closed its mouth when a crescent-shaped sword energy came out from the python. Snake beasts were sprayed out of the body. Strike, you can't change your way? If the red brocade bird hears it, it will definitely say that the monster IQ of the Yuanying period has the level of adults. What do you want me to build a base for the foundation? The bracadabird brain was cracked, and both of the mechas fell to the ground. Chen Tianqi held up his shield and flew towards Zhang Tinyu quickly. When he was several feet away, he instantly released a fire dragon bomb towards him. A blazing fire dragon attacked Zhang Tinyu at an extremely fast speed. Zhang Tinyu did not expect Chen Tianqi to cast spells so quickly. Before his aura shield could condense, he immediately retreated in a panic, shouting in panic, "Senior, save me." Chapter 18. Hearing Zhang Tinyu's loud shout, two beams of light came quickly from the distance of the woods, trying to save Zhang Tinyu before the attack came. Unfortunately, it was too late. The blazing fire dragon had already hit Zhang Tinyu's body, and a ghost pulled Zhang Tinyu out of the fire dragon. Two figures followed and stopped in the air. One was a skinny old man with a face like an evil ghost, whose cultivation had reached the middle stage of Jinden. The other was a sexy and beautiful woman with revealing clothes, who was charming and attractive, and whose cultivation had reached the early stage of Jinden. The old man with a face like an evil ghost carried Zhang Tinyu, who had half of his body roasted and spitting blood, and looked at him with a vicious look, and spoke in a sinister voice. "You are such a loser. You had to show off in front of us turned up like this." Then he let out a strange laugh. "I can't bear to see people suffer, so you should make a sacrifice for my little baby." Zhang Tinyu was terrified when he heard this, and he spat out blood mixed with internal organs. He opened his mouth without breathing. Senior, no, don't." The old man ignored him and raised a triangular ghost flag. Suddenly, a large number of evil ghosts screamed miserably and kept running out of the ghost flag. The old man threw Zhang Tinyu into the air. The large number of evil ghosts around the ghost flag swarmed in like sharks that smelled blood, constantly tearing and gnawing at his body. Zhang Tinyu screamed, but it aroused the ferocity of the evil ghosts even more. They bit more happily and directly dragged out his soul. In less than a moment, Zhang Tinyu was eaten up. Chen Tianqi looked at the scene of the ghosts eating and his scalp numbed. It was too disgusting. Then he secretly gathered his magic power and prepared to activate it. The old man then looked at Chen Tianqi with a playful look in his eyes. "Boy, if you don't want to be eaten by my little baby, you'd better follow me." The evil ghost Taoist, the charming woman on the side, stared at Chen Tianqi's strong body. Her eyes were drawn, and her lewd voice blurted out, "You can also choose to follow me and be my Taoist partner. I will make you feel like you are in heaven." The evil ghost Taoist looked at the charming woman grimly. "Fellow Taoist Mei Ling, please don't meddle in other people's business." Mei Ling curled her lips and continued to flirt with Chen Tianqi, saying in a delicate voice, "I just want to try his taste. It won't delay anything." The evil ghost Taoist snorted, and just as he was about to say something, Chen Tianqi activated the escape technique, the time escape technique plus the biological force field, and rushed out in a flash. His speed far exceeded that of a Jinden cultivator. The evil ghost Taoist and Mei Ling were stunned. They didn't expect his speed to be so fast. But then the evil ghost Taoist laughed a few times, and the two followed behind him slowly. Chen Tianqi ran quickly, looked ahead, and found that the area he was in was surrounded by a formation, so he stopped immediately. "Hey, you are really fast, kid. Fortunately, I set up a trap in advance, otherwise you would have escaped," the voice followed, and two beams of light stopped in front of Chen Tianqi. Chen Tianqi knew at this time that he could not get out unless he killed the person who set up the trap. The evil ghost Taoist looked at Chen Tianqi coldly. "Since you have chosen to escape, then turn into food for my baby." Then the ghost flag appeared, and the evil ghost swarmed out and rushed towards Chen Tianqi. Chen Tianqi instantly fired more than a dozen fire dragons at the group of evil ghosts. Seeing this, the evil ghost Taoist did not slow down and once again sacrificed the skull magic weapon and stood in front of the group of evil ghosts. The skull opened its mouth and sucked, and more than a dozen fire dragon spells were swallowed into its mouth. The group of evil ghosts then surrounded Chen Tianqi fiercely and attacked him. Chen Tianqi's magic power was strong, and the aura shield he unfolded was also extremely strong, enough to withstand the attacks of evil ghosts. He held the Star Phantom Sword in his hand and constantly stimulated the sword energy to kill the evil ghosts. But after the evil ghosts died, they continued to be reborn from the ghost flag and rushed towards Chen Tianqi again, and the two fell into a protracted battle. The evil ghost Taoist felt that the yin beads in the ghost flag were constantly decreasing, but he could not take Chen Tianqi down in time. He knew that he could not go on, and then looked at Mei Ling. "Taoist Mei Ling, how long will you wait? Why don't you act quickly and get rid of him as soon as possible so that we can report to the mission?" Seeing this, Mei Ling spit out more a ball of pink spiritual mist and flew towards Chen Tianqi. Chen Tianqi saw a ball of pink mist coming towards him and summoned the Zhuangjia shield to block it, but he didn't expect that the mist would directly penetrate the shield and flow into Chen Tianqi's body. After the pink mist entered Chen Tianqi's body, Chen Tianqi felt that the surrounding scenery changed. He was sitting on the main seat of a hall, hugging two stunning beauties on his left and right. The beauties' hands reached into their clothes and slowly stroked from top to bottom, staring at Chen Tianqi with charming eyes. Just as the beauty was about to touch the bottom, everything in the hall was sucked away by a huge suction force. Chen Tianqi immediately bit his tongue and felt a pain. He pinched the magic formula, no longer covering up and suppressing the red vortex in his danshan, and actively operated the furnace of heaven and earth. Suddenly, the red vortex in the center of the sea of mana in his body set off fierce waves. Chen Tianqi's body radiated astonishing heat, and a devouring force like the gravity of a black hole burst out from his body, instantly devouring the evil ghosts that surrounded and attacked him. The origin of the evil ghosts was constantly devoured and refined by the red vortex in the danshan, turning into a series of refined powers, which were quickly fed back. Chen Tianqi's bottleneck in cultivation was suddenly broken through, and his realm reached a late stage of foundation building. The body radiated heat, and the muscles and bones were constantly compressed in exercise, and they were also strengthened. The evil ghost Taoist watched in amazement as the evil ghost disappeared, and then Chen Tianqi's aura suddenly reached the late stage of foundation building. He felt unheard of, and had never heard of anyone who could break through in the middle of a battle. But he soon realized that the evil ghosts were not reborn in the ghost flag, and immediately realized that the origin of the evil ghosts had been devoured by Chen Tianqi. Then, with a greedy look on his face, he spoke to Mei Ling. "This kid has a treasure, let's capture him and interrogate him." Mei Ling watched the evil ghosts disappear, and then Chen Tianqi's aura soared, and his realm breakthrough did not fluctuate, but was as stable as Mount Tai. Just when she was very surprised, she heard the words of the evil ghost Taoist. Then she understood and showed a greedy look. The evil ghost Taoist took back the ghost flag and used the skull magic weapon. A blue ghost fire spurted out of the mouth of the magic weapon and attacked Chen Tianqi. Mei Ling also took out a red rope magic weapon, shining with pink light, and came towards Chen Tianqi at a rapid speed. In the blink of an eye, the red rope flew in front of her and quickly tied up Chen Tianqi. The ghost fire followed and bombarded Chen Tianqi, burning with blue flames. Chen Tianqi activated the furnace of heaven and earth, and the red vortex in his danshan sucked it fiercely, and all the ghost fire was swallowed by his body. Then he exerted force with both arms, and a huge force burst out, breaking free from the red rope, setting off an explosion, and rushing towards the evil ghost Taoist. The evil ghost Taoist was shocked, summoned the skull, injected magic power, and suddenly the skull became huge, blocking Chen Tianqi's way of charging. His eyes shot out several ghost fires, and his mouth emitted waves of sound. Mei Ling also took out a strange long-stick magic weapon and was about to attack Chen Tianqi. Suddenly, a tall mecha puppet jumped out of the woods, jumped high, and smashed down at Mei Ling with a sledgehammer. Mei Ling hurriedly used the long-stick magic weapon to block in front of her, but was still knocked down into the woods. Chen Tianqi held a black armor shield to resist the ghost fire, but the sound waves emitted by the skull shook people's souls, causing Chen Tianqi's soul to shake, his head to split, and his body slowed down. Chapter 19. Chen Tianqi endured the pain in his soul, took out the crocodile mecha puppet from the storage bag, and threw it into the woods below. Then he used the Star Phantom sword to activate the energy core, and instantly turned it into a giant sword, stabbing fiercely at the skull magic weapon. The skull and the giant sword collided violently, causing waves of magic power. The evil ghost Taoist held the magic formula in his hand and increased the magic power transmission. Chen Tianqi made a prompt decision and directly self-destructed the flying sword. Boom! The roar of the explosion was like 1,000 thunders, and the violent shock wave spread in the air. The evil ghost Taoist's body was hit backwards, stabilized his body, and looked at his skull magic weapon that was already half damaged. He was immediately filled with anger and shouted angrily, "Damn kid, you destroyed my magic weapon. I will cut you into pieces and feed your soul to the evil spirits, so that you will never be reborn." As soon as the voice fell, relying on the cover of the self-detonation of the flying sword, Chen Tianqi suddenly attacked from under the evil ghost Taoist, swung up the shield, and smashed it hard at the evil ghost Taoist. The evil ghost Taoist quickly used the spiritual shield, but he did not expect Chen Tianqi's physical strength to be so great that the spiritual shield was directly shattered and cracked. His body was hit by the shield, spitting blood, and fell backwards. Chen Tianqi followed closely, and his hand fiercely grabbed the neck of the evil ghost Taoist. His face was hideous, his eyes were red, and he kept accumulating strength. The evil ghost Taoist's hair stood up immediately, and he struggled violently, but found in despair that no matter how he struggled, the person in front of him held him tightly. A hot ray as thick as a bucket directly smashed the evil ghost Taoist's head. Chen Tianqi looked at the corpse in his hand with indifference, and saw that the evil ghost Taoist's soul was still hidden in it. Then he ran the furnace of heaven and earth, and a devouring force in his hand frantically sucked the soul hidden in the body of the evil ghost Taoist. The evil ghost Taoist's soul shouted in panic, "Taoist friend, I have already lost. I hope you will let me go to reincarnation." Chen Tianqi ignored him and swallowed his soul directly into the vortex in his danshan. After a while, the refined soul power not only repaired Chen Tianqi's damaged soul, but also strengthened it a little. Chen Tianqi threw away the useless headless corpse and sneered. "You want me to be damned forever, so I will make you damned forever too." Mei Ling in the woods below had just dealt with two puppets when she looked up and saw Chen Tianqi killing the evil ghost Taoist. Her face changed instantly, and she used the escape technique to escape without looking back. Chen Tianqi saw that she wanted to run, so he immediately used the time escape technique and got up to chase her. As the distance got closer, Mei Ling hurriedly begged Chen Tianqi for mercy. "Taoist friend, please let me go. This was all planned by that evil ghost guy. It has nothing to do with me." Chen Tianqi sneered, and then his speed increased dramatically. He swung the shield and threw it fiercely, smashing Mei Ling directly to the ground, forming a big pit. Mei Ling lay in the big pit, blood flowing from the corner of her mouth, and waves of severe pain came from her body. She propped up her arms and saw Chen Tianqi slowly flying in front of her, and then she cried and complained. "Taoist friend, please forgive me. I will do anything you want me to do." Chen Tianqi was moved to tears by the sound. Most people might be soft-hearted when they saw her delicate and charming posture. But Chen Tianqi just raised his fist expressionlessly and hid her immediately. Mei Ling saw that begging for mercy was useless, so she quickly threw a pink bead in her hand. The pink bead was directly exploded by her fist and turned into a ball of pink mist that wrapped Chen Tianqi. The pink mist directly entered Chen Tianqi's body and immediately activated the furnace of heaven and earth. She found that it was not a poison, but the desire of the body was directly aroused. Mei Ling saw that Chen Tianqi's eyes were unfocused, and she was happy in her heart, knowing that the two were immediately surrounded by a pink light curtain. Many scenes of his life with Mei Ling emerged in Chen Tianqi's mind. They were inseparable and in love. But soon, Chen Tianqi's spirit shattered these scenes. If it was the spirit at the beginning, Chen Tianqi might have been tricked. Chen Tianqi's eyes regained clarity, and he quickly pinched Mei Ling's neck and turned over. Mei Ling was caught off guard and locked tightly. Mei Ling looked at Chen Tianqi, who had regained clarity, with disbelief, and called out in surprise, "How could you possibly get rid of my Xuanji illusionary heart charm?" Mei Ling felt very bitter at the moment. Xuanji illusionary heart charm was her last trump card to turn the tables. To use this charm, one must first put the enemy in a state of desire, and then use the body to combine, run the technique, and use the power of the soul to modify the opponent's soul memory, turning him into a slave. But Mei Ling didn't expect that Chen Tianqi, who had swallowed the soul of the evil ghost Taoist, had already surpassed her in soul power. Chen Tianqi felt the restlessness of his body and could no longer endure it. After a long time, Mei Ling's aura disappeared, and her cultivation level dropped directly to the key training stage. Chen Tianqi looked at Mei Ling, who was about to die. There was no sympathy in his heart. For a demon girl like this to reach the Jinden stage, she must have harmed many people. Letting her die in this way can also be regarded as a retribution. Chen Tianqi took away her storage bag, flew out of the pit, and shot out a fire dragon, burning Mei Ling to death. Chen Tianqi came to the woods not far away and searched for spoils. Then he flew to a remote mountain and dug out a cave, preparing to consolidate his cultivation and count the results of the battle. A few days later, Chen Tianqi counted the losses. He lost a top-grade magic weapon, 2 puppets in the late stage of foundation building, and the Kingayan boat was also broken, so it could not fly for the time being. At the same time, he also knew that the evil ghost Taoist and Mei Ling came from the Ghost Spirit sect and the Hehuan sect respectively, and were specially sent by the demon Dao to capture Chen Tianqi. But he didn't expect that the weapon refiner was not caught, but 2 people were lost instead. Because of the appearance of these 2 people, he suffered a lot of losses, and Chen Tianqi felt distressed. Then Chen Tianqi looked at the storage bags in front of him, hoping to get good stuff to make up for his losses. First of all, there are 3 magic weapons, whose names are known through the system. One is the 10,000 Ghost Banner, one is the Immortal Binding Rope, and one is the Golden Pillar Pavilion. Chen Tianqi picked up this magic weapon from Mei Ling, his mouth twitched, and he was speechless. Are all the demon girls in the world of immortal cultivation so good at playing? When I thought of the things left on it, I put it down quickly and sold it as soon as possible. Secondly, Chen Tianqi's spiritual stone reserves reached 120,000 due to the strong support of the 3 Taoist friends. Chen Tianqi looked at another storage bag with a prohibition of Lingxiao Mountain, which contains spiritual stones from the spiritual stone mine. It is conceivable how many spiritual stones are inside. But it is not easy to take action, not to mention that forcibly opening it may attract the attention of the high-level people of Lingxiao Mountain and lead to pursuit. After thinking for a moment, Chen Tianqi decided to bury it on the spot and open it again when his realm is higher. Finally, he looked at the 3 jade slips of martial arts, one of which was the 10,000 ghost soul devouring technique, one of which was the Xuanji illusion heart charming technique, and one of which was the beast taming technique. Chen Tianqi thought about it and realized that he already had several martial arts books in his hands. He was going to use the system's martial arts fusion deduction function to see if he could create a new martial arts book. Chapter 20. After Chen Tianqi had stabilized his cultivation at the peak of foundation building, he took out the spaceship issued by the sect and returned to Huangfeng Valley. 3 days later, Chen Tianqi finally returned to Huangfeng Valley, and his aura was hidden to the middle stage of foundation building by the hidden heaven full breath art. As soon as Chen Tianqi arrived at Huangfeng Valley, he prepared to go to the meeting hall to report the details of the incident to Zhongling Dao. When Chen Tianqi walked into the meeting hall, he saw Zhongling Dao with a sad face. Chen Tianqi bowed to him. "Master, I have something important to report." Zhongling Dao raised his head and saw that it was Chen Tianqi, and his expression was delighted. "Junior brother Chen, you are finally back. I thought you were killed by the demon sect, just like the junior brothers from Lingxiao Mountain and Yan'ayu sect." When Chen Tianqi heard this, he was confused, but he still told Zhongling Dao half-truths about the incident. When talking about encountering a giant and cultivator from the demon sect, Chen Tianqi said that he had practiced a strange escape technique that was comparable to giant and cultivator, so he escaped. Zhongling Dao naturally only believed half of Chen Tianqi's words, but he did not delve into how he escaped from the giant and cultivator. After all, everyone has their own secrets. Of course, he would not doubt whether he was a traitor released by the demon sect or something. After all, He was close to the Chen family and was a disciple of a giant and cultivator, so he just let it go. Unfortunately, Zhang Linggao would not believe it no matter how hard he tried. Chen Tianqi did not escape, but killed the giant and cultivator. Then Zhang Linggao sighed and said to Chen Tianqi, "Junior brother Chen, you are so lucky to have escaped from the giant and demon cultivator. Not long ago, Lingxiao Mountain and Yan'ayu sect reported that the disciples who went to the spiritual mine with you were killed by the giant and demon cultivator on the way back. Moreover, the Yan family has recently joined the ghost spirit sect and killed all the 7 sects who are attending the Yanjiabao conference. Only 2 people from our Huangfeng Valley escaped." When Chen Tianqi heard this, he suddenly understood. It turned out that the Yanjiabao conference started after I went on the mission. No wonder Zhang Linggao didn't investigate this mission in depth. The 2 survivors are Han Pao Pao and Dong Zuiner, right? It seems that the battle between good and evil in Yu Kingdom is about to begin. I have to find time to go to Xinruoyan. Zhang Linggao then spoke in a gentle voice. "Junior brother Chen, you have worked hard. This is a credit to you. Please hand in the task in a while." Recently, the friction between the border demons and our disciples has become more and more serious. I hope junior brother Chen will be careful. Chen Tianqi bowed and thanked him, then said goodbye and went to Beiji Hall to hand in the task. Soon Chen Tianqi arrived at Beiji Hall, but there were only a few reception disciples in the hall. After returning the storage bag containing the spirit stones and the spaceship to the reception disciple, he asked, "Why don't you see your elders? And why are there so few people here today?" The receiving disciple replied respectfully, "Uncle Master, you may not know that the demonic path had a conflict with us at the border a few days ago. And the sect ordered Elder Yi to bring a group of disciples to support us." Chen Tianqi suddenly felt that time was running out and he had to prepare for it quickly. Then he left in a hurry and returned to his cave. Chen Tianqi returned to the cave and found Chen Tianqian practicing drawing talismans. When Chen Tianqian saw Chen Tianqi coming back, she immediately put down her gold pen and talisman paper and happily rushed to Chen Tianqi. "Husband, you are finally back." Chen Tianqi hugged Chen Tianqian. "Sorry I'm back late." Then he told Chen Tianqian what had happened in the past 10 days. Chen Tianqian looked worried after listening. "I didn't expect that my husband had such a dangerous experience this time. Are you not injured?" She kept groping Chen Tianqi's body to check if there were any injuries, and asked worriedly. Chen Tianqi smiled slightly and pinched her fair and rosy face. "Your husband is amazing." Then Chen Tianqi patted his chest, with a slight smile on his face. "Look at your body, it's very healthy. If you don't believe me, let's go to the room and try it out." Chen Tianqian rolled her eyes at him charmingly, and soon she looked remorseful. "I can't help you at all, and I didn't even know that my husband was in such a dangerous situation." Chen Tianqian buried her head in Chen Tianqi's chest and hugged him tightly. Seeing Chen Tianqian blaming herself, Chen Tianqi patted her on the back and spoke to comfort her. "Tianqian, you don't have to be like this. For me, you're practicing hard and improving your cultivation is the greatest help to me." After Chen Tianqi put the blood jade spider's eggs into the spiritual spring to hatch, he came to the training room and sat cross-legged. "System, it's your turn. Give me the fusion technique." Ding. Select the fusion material. Chen Tianqi input the golden wheel burning heaven art, 10,000 ghosts devouring soul art, Zuanji illusion heart charming art, and beast taming art into the system, a total of 4 skills. He originally wanted to add the heaven and earth furnace, but was told that the level of the skill was too high and did not match the other skills. After Chen Tianqi determined the skill selection, he immediately pressed the fusion button with his mind. Ding. The system is integrating the skills, and it is expected to take 3 years. Chapter 21. 1 year later. The demonic path officially declared war on the 7 sects. Most of the disciples in the sect were sent to the front line at once, and even Chen Tianqian was arranged in the 3rd batch of disciples. Before the 2 separated, Chen Tianqi refined a set of top-grade inner armor magic tools for her, and also refined a beast-shaped mecha puppet at the peak of foundation building for her self-defense. And Chen Tianqi, relying on his identity as a weapon refiner, stayed in the sect and continued to refine magic tools for the front line of Huangfeng Valley and sent them over. As one of the many arms wholesalers, Chen Tianqi received a large amount of precious materials issued by Huangfeng Valley. For public and private reasons, of course, he had to take some kickbacks from it to refine a few handy magic tools and cool mecha puppets. Chen Tianqi used kickbacks to refine 18 flying swords and 3 mecha puppets. The 18 flying swords are of the same grade as the Star Phantom sword. Perhaps he saw the huge power of the magic tools he refined. Prepare to encounter a strong enemy next time, and come up with a flying sword version of the Middle Eastern human bomb. Blast the enemy in the face directly. If one shot doesn't work, use 2 shots. This is the theory of the predecessors. If you are rich, you can cover the enemy with firepower. The 3 puppets are all orc-type mechas. They have long bodies covered with purple scales and a series of sharp protrusions on their backs. They are also specially equipped with flight functions, large and gorgeous wings, and are purple, pink and yellow. The tail gradually tapers to the tip, and the head is decorated with complex colored manes and crown-like structures. It has a beak-shaped mouth and glowing red eyes, and claw-like hands at the end of its limbs. The spirits of 3 monsters were specially found and integrated into the puppets to make the puppets more autonomous. Chen Tianqi was very satisfied with this work, and the overall appearance was very majestic. Chen Tianqi finished the sects refining task and was about to continue refining the flying sword when he received Li Huain's voice transmission token. The general meaning was that after Chen Tianqi completed the sects refining task, he would go to the front line to discuss important matters with him. Chen Tianqi had to put down the half-refined flying sword in his hand and got up to go to the front line. Chen Tianqi was driving the Kryptonian boat in the air. After being re-refined, its speed was directly increased to a higher level. It took only 2 days to arrive at the front-line camp. In the huge camp, there are 3 sects stationed here, namely Huangfeng Valley, Lingxiao Mountain, and Yan'ayu sect. Among them, 70% are disciples in the key training stage, and 30% are disciples in the foundation building stage. There are 3 giant cultivators guarding the camp, and Li Huain is one of them. Chen Tianqi came to the camp, registered, and came to Li Huain's tent. Entering the tent, Chen Tianqi found that Li Huain was sitting in front of a large mahogany table, sipping tea. Chen Tianqi bowed and asked Li Huain, "I am honored to meet you, master. I wonder why you asked me to come here." Li Huain asked Chen Tianqi to sit down and poured him a cup of tea. "It's not a big deal. The war has slowed down recently. I arranged for your junior brother Han Li to go to U State to handle some things. Not long after, this guy asked me for help, so I sent Liu Jing, Zhang Weiniang, and Song Meng to help him." Li Huain took a sip of tea and continued, "Oh, by the way, your Taoist partner Chen Tianqi also brought 2 foundation-building monks from your family to help. With so many foundation-building monks, they should be safe, but I always feel uneasy, so I thought of bringing you along to help them. Tianqi, you are steady and careful in your work, and your cultivation is not bad. I am most optimistic about you among all my disciples, so asking you to go is also a recognition of you." After hearing this, Chen Tianqi knew in his heart that this was a copy of the Black Evil sect, and it was about to start. In fact, Chen Tianqi didn't really want to go, because there was nothing to get, except for the secret method of incarnation. But thinking that Chen Tianqi was also involved, even if she survived in the original book, it was inevitable that an accident would happen now. Chen Tianqi agreed, "I will do my best to follow master's wishes." Li Huain nodded with satisfaction when he saw Chen Tianqi agreed. Chen Tianqi walked out of the tent, and later learned that Liu Jing and the others had been gone for 2 days. After calculating, he found that there was still some time, so he decided to go to Yuanwu Kingdom to find Xin Ruian and sell several magic weapons. Time was running out, so Chen Tianqi flew out of the camp in the Kryptonian boat, poured away the flying boat, and with the help of the time escape technique, he turned into a ray of light and flew away. 1 day later, Chen Tianqi came to the market of Xiangxing sect and went directly to Xin Ruian and their shop. When he arrived in front of the shop, he found that the gatehouse was locked and there was no one inside. Just as he was about to find someone to ask them where they had been, a person came towards him from the corner. The figure hurriedly ran to Chen Tianqi, and the person who came was Wang Xiling. "Senior, you are finally here." Seeing Wang Xiling so excited, Chen Tianqi was a little confused and asked immediately, "Why are you so excited? Is it possible that Miss Zin's dragon roar energy has erupted again? It shouldn't be that fast, right, senior?" "That's not the case. Miss Zin is fine. It's just that Brother Qi and Miss Zin are in trouble and are being hunted by the Fu family," Wang Xiling explained hurriedly, and then asked, "I come here day and night to guard, just worried about missing you. Senior, please help them." Chen Tianqi certainly would not leave Xin Ruoyan alone. This is the key to open the new map. Take me to them quickly. Wang Xiling quickly took Chen Tianqi to Xin Ruoyan's residence. After leaving the Xiangxing sect market, they found several sneaky monks chasing someone not far from the market. Wang Xiling looked closely and found that they were wearing Fu's robes, and suddenly felt that something was wrong. Senior, the people in front are from the Fu family. They seem to be chasing someone. Could it be Brother Qi? Wang Xiling said with uneasiness. Chen Tianqi immediately took Wang Xiling too. Qi Yongxiao ran away desperately, and from time to time he had to dodge the attacks from behind. He thought to himself that he was really unlucky today. A few days ago, Miss Xin did not have enough materials to refine the formation, so he thought of taking the risk to go to the market today to buy materials from Miss Xin. He was careless for a moment and was discovered by several monks from the Fu family. This led to the current scene of being chased. A huge fireball brought Qi Yongxiao's mind back to reality. Qi Yongxiao hurriedly dodged, but was still affected and crashed into a big tree. The monk who led the pursuers walked up to him and snorted coldly. You can't run away. If you had known this would happen, you would have handed over the weapon refining secret book. Maybe I could have spared your life. Then he lit a fireball in his hand and blasted it towards Qi Yongxiao. At that moment, Chen Tianqi and Wang Xiling quickly flew in front of Qi Yongxiao and blocked the attack for him. The monk was shocked and took a few steps back, and hurriedly bowed. I wonder who you are? Why did you save him? Chen Tianqi ignored him, turned to look at Qi Yongxiao, and handed him a rejuvenation pill. Can you still stand up? Wang Xiling helped Qi Yongxiao up, took the pill and put it into Qi Yongxiao's mouth. The two of them were very grateful and said thank you for saving my life, Senior. Chen Tianqi waved his hand. The deal between you and me has not been completed yet. You cannot die yet. The monk was sweating profusely when he heard the conversation between Chen Tianqi and the others. Forward, Senior, since there's nothing else, let's go first. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22. Chen Tianqi looked at him without a smile. Did I say you can leave now? The monk saw the murderous intent in Chen Tianqi's eyes, and hurriedly threatened him, saying his ancestor's name. Our ancestor is a giant and cultivator, Senior, please don't ask for trouble, Chen Tianqi said with disdain. You are just a giant, and you dare to threaten me with it. He quickly shot out a fire dragon, which submerged the people in front of him. The cultivators turned into ashes without even screaming. After Chen Tianqi dealt with the cultivators, he asked Qi Yongxiao, didn't you hide with Miss Xin? How could they chase you? Qi Yongxiao explained with embarrassment that he went to the market to buy materials for the formation, but because of his carelessness, he was discovered by them, and then the scene just now happened. After hearing this, Wang Xiling said to Qi Yongxiao with a look of regret, why don't you come to me? I can buy the materials for you and send them to you. Qi Yongxiao said embarrassedly, Brother Wang, I don't want to implicate you. You have helped us enough. Seeing that Wang Xiling wanted to say something to Qi Yongxiao, Chen Tianqi quickly interrupted the passionate couple. Well, Brother Qi didn't expect the Fu family to be so cunning that they would send people to wait for him. Let's go back quickly. After hearing what Chen Tianqi said, Qi Yongxiao and the others nodded and took Chen Tianqi in one direction. An hour later, Qi Yongxiao brought Chen Tianqi to a hidden valley wrapped in a formation. He took out the formation plate, turned it a few times, and immediately opened a hole, then called Chen Tianqi and Wang Xiling to enter. After Chen Tianqi walked in, there was a large flat land in the valley, with several houses built on it and several acres of flowers planted. Perhaps feeling the fluctuations of the formation, Xin Ruoyan came out of her house with her maid Xiaomai. Seeing that it was Qi Yongxiao and others, Xiaomai shouted with joy, Miss, it's Brother Qi, Brother Wang, and Senior Chen. Xin Ruoyan happily stepped forward and said to Qi Yongxiao, Brother Qi, you are finally back. Then he saluted Chen Tianqi and Wang Xiling. I don't know how many of you came to visit me. I'm sorry for not welcoming you. Chen Tianqi smiled and nodded. Wang Xiling responded with a smile, and then looked angrily. Miss Xin, you don't have to be polite. You have to talk to Brother Qi. Xin Ruoyan looked at Qi Yongxiao with a puzzled look. Qi Yongxiao could only scratch his head and explain again. After hearing this, Xin Ruan looked worried and spoke to Qi Yongxiao in a gentle voice. Brother Qi hopes you won't take such risks in the future. If Senior Chen hadn't shown up in time this time, you might never see me again. Seeing Xin Ruan looking worried, Qi Yongxiao patted his chest and said he would never take risks again. Seeing that the two of them were showing off their affection, Chen Tianqi quickly changed the subject. He didn't want to be a light bulb. Miss Xin, I wonder how you restored the inverted 5 elements formation. Xin Ruan smiled slightly and took out a formation plate. Senior Chen, the inverted 5 elements formation has already reached 70% of the power of the original one. He handed the formation plate to Chen Tianqi. This is the array plate of the inverted 5 elements array. According to the agreement, I will give it to you, Senior. Chen Tianqi took the array plate and bowed to thank you, Miss Xin. I need your help with something else. Without waiting for Xin Ruan to answer, he took out the jade slip with the ancient teleportation array from his storage bag. I encountered an ancient formation in a secret place, but a corner of it was damaged, so I specially recorded it on a jade slip. Please help me repair it, Miss Xin. Chen Tianqi handed the jade slip to Xin Ruan, who picked it up and examined it for a moment, then looked surprised. It turned out to be a teleportation array. Miss Xin, do you have any way to repair this formation? Chen Tianqi asked hurriedly. After Xin Ruan pondered for a moment, she replied, this ancient teleportation array has been lost, but I can try to repair it based on the existing array method. But if I can't repair it, I hope you won't blame me. I am not such a person. Miss Xin, just do your best. Chen Tianqi thanked him immediately. He knew the original story and understood that the teleportation array was stable. Then Chen Tianqi took out the Xianlizi from his storage bag and handed it to Xin Ruan. I will come back later. This heavenly thunder seed will be the down payment for this reward. If Miss Xin succeeds in repairing the formation, I will definitely reward her handsomely one day. Xin Ruan's heavenly thunder seed returned the gift respectfully. Thank you, Senior. Ruan will definitely do her best. After a while, Chen Tianqi finished dealing with the main things on Xin Ruan's side, and warned Qi Yongxiao that it would be better for him to stay out during this period. Then he said goodbye and left on the grounds that he had something important to do. Chen Tianqi walked out of the valley, hoping that the lovers would eventually get married. He had reminded them as he should. After leaving, Chen Tianqi did not go straight to Yuguo Yucheng, but came to Xiangxingzhuang Market, ready to sell some things he had obtained in the past few years. After Chen Tianqi changed his appearance, he put on a black robe, used the concealment technique to change his own magic aura, and came to the foot of Wanbao Tower in the market. Walking into Wanbao Tower, a middle-aged monk was checking the account book. The middle-aged monk saw the arrival of the guests, hurriedly put down the account book, and stood up to greet them. Dear customer, I am the shopkeeper. What do you want to order from our shop? Chen Tianqi said in a hoarse voice. I have some things to sell, will you take them? The middle-aged shopkeeper looked at Chen Tianqi, whose aura was erratic, and knew that he was someone not to be trifled with. He narrowed his eyes, rubbed his hands, and replied with a smile. May I ask what the distinguished guest wants to offer? Chen Tianqi stretched out his hand and waved forward, and took out the 10,000 Ghosts banner, the Golden Pillar Pavilion, and some magic tools he had fished in the market last time. The middle-aged shopkeeper took a closer look and saw 2 magic tools and several magic tools. He was very surprised and thought that he had hit the jackpot today and met a big customer. Especially the 10,000 Ghosts banner, a rare and top-grade magic tool. As for the Golden Pillar Pavilion, it was also a medium-level magic tool, but it was obviously an improper thing. The middle-aged shopkeeper picked up the Golden Pillar Pavilion, looked at Chen Tianqi with a fellow practitioner's eyes, and smiled obscenely on his face. Excuse me, sir, are all these things for sale? Chen Tianqi looked at his obscene eyes and knew what he was thinking. The corner of his mouth twitched. These are not my things. Why are you looking at me? He immediately responded, sell them all. How much do you think they are worth? The middle-aged shopkeeper smiled happily, took out a small abacus and calculated the price on the spot. This guessed, a total of 37,000 spiritual stones. I'll give you 38,000 spiritual stones, just as if we were friends. After hearing this, Chen Tianqi thought the price was reasonable. The market price of magic weapons is generally between 10,000 and 30,000. As for those broken magic weapons, they are all worthless. He responded in a hoarse voice. That's it, The middle-aged shopkeeper took out a bag of spirit stones from the bin on the counter, counted them for a while and handed them to Chen Tianqi. Take it, guest. This is your spiritual stone. Chen Tianqi took the spiritual stone bag, turned around and walked out of Wanbaolao. As soon as he walked out of the door, he heard the middle-aged shopkeeper muttering behind him. This style, maybe it can open up a new sales channel. Chen Tianqi's mouth twitched, as if he had helped the shopkeeper open the door to a new world. Chapter 23. After Chen Tianqi sold the stolen goods, he sent a message to Han Li and headed directly to the Qin mansion in Yu State. One day later, Chen Tianqi arrived at the door of the Qin mansion. An old man was lying on a chair outside the door to enjoy the cool air. Chen Tianqi walked up to the old man and politely spoke to him. Old man, I am Han Li's friend. He asked me to meet him at Qin's house. Please go and inform him. The old man was still shaking his head and lying on the chair at first. When he heard that it was Han Li's friend, he immediately sat up and said with an apologetic smile. It turned out to be young Master Han's friend. I really didn't recognize a great man. Young Master Han has instructed that if his friend comes, go directly to the small courtyard at the back to find him. Chen Tianqi looked at the old man with a perfect expression, feeling both amused and helpless. He was still like this after being wronged once. But he didn't bother with him. He nodded and walked into the Qin mansion. As soon as he arrived at the gate of the courtyard, he found that Liu Jing and others had already arrived in the courtyard. Liu Jing was playing chess with Han Li, and Song Meng was brandishing swords and guns on the side. Zhang Weiniang was whispering to Chen Tianqi, while Wu Zhuan and the other two extra monks of the Chen family were surrounding a charming woman and showing their courtesy, like dogs. Entering the courtyard, Chen Tianqi spotted Chen Tianqi the first time, and immediately walked up to him happily. Husband, you are here. Chen Tianqi took Chen Tianqi's hand, nodded with a smile, and then bowed to everyone present. Fellow students, I am very sorry that I am late. Junior brother Chen, there is no need to do this. Master called you to come a little later than us. Liu Jing stood up and returned the greeting, very considerate. Song Meng put away his spear, walked over and patted Chen Tianqi on the shoulder. Junior brother Chen, don't be polite, we are all family. On the contrary, I finally saw the true face of the weapon refining master. When you have time, you must refine a top-quality spear for me. Of course, I have heard that senior brother Song likes to wield swords and guns, and that he is very skilled in martial arts. Seeing him today, I find that he is indeed amazing. Chen Tianqi smiled and agreed immediately. Han Li also smiled and praised Chen Tianqi. Master is cautious. He knows that senior brother Chen is a weapon refiner and must have many tricks. He specially found senior brother Chen to help us. Chen Tianqi's eyes twitched. This kid immediately used me as a shield. If something happens, there will be someone to block it. Brother Han, you are too kind. I am only good at refining weapons. I have a few more magical weapons than ordinary cultivators, which is not a big deal. At this time, the charming woman came out from the encirclement of the licking dogs and said in a delicate voice, Senior brother Chen, you are really amazing. I heard from Uncle Lei that senior brother Chen killed several foundation-building demon cultivators by himself beside the cave. After hearing this, Chen Tianqi cursed Lei Wan for being such a big mouth and telling everyone about it. Then he looked at the woman and was surprised to find that it was Dong Zuiner. Junior sister Dong, you are too kind. I just used the cave formation to kill him that time. Then he asked doubtfully. Why did junior sister Dong come here too? Did you get the approval of senior uncle Hongfo? Before Dong Zuiner could say anything, Zhang Weiniang came over and raised her hand to answer. I know, because a few days ago, people from the Ghost Spirit sect and the Huangfeng sect discovered the body of a giant cultivator who had not been in contact for more than a year, and they have been looking for the murderer on the front line recently. It just so happened that Master sent us to Yuchang to assist Xiao Jiu, Han Li, and Uncle Hongfo knew about it, so he asked junior sister Dong to come with junior sister Chen to avoid the turmoil on the front line. Hearing what Zhang Weiniang said, Chen Tianqi smiled slightly in his heart. No one would have thought that the murderer was a disciple in the foundation building period. At the same time, he also secretly decided to implement a one-stop cremation service in the future, leaving no trace. Dong Zuiner rolled her eyes at Zhang Weiniang, looked at the handsome Chen Tianqi, and then spoke in a delicate voice like a green tea, complaining to him with a face full of complaint. Senior brother Chen, are you not welcoming me? You look surprised when you see me. Chen Tianqi got goosebumps all over his body and smiled awkwardly. Junior sister Dong, please don't misunderstand. I just heard from Master that senior uncle Huangfeng cherishes you very much, so I'm a little confused about why he asked you to come to such a dangerous place. Dong Xuaner's eyes glowed pink, and she walked in front of Chen Tianqi, placed her hands on his strong chest, and slid down slowly, casting a seductive glance at him. I am not a weak girl, and I have the treasures given by my master to protect myself. Even if I am in danger, senior brother Chen will definitely come to save me, right? Wu Zhuan, who was standing aside, immediately spoke first. If junior sister Dong is in danger, I will immediately stand in front of you. Dong Xuaner ignored this licking bug and continued to use her charm to try to seduce Chen Tianqi. Chen Tianqi felt Dong Xuaner's charm on him, frowned, and was about to take her hand away. Chen Tianqi directly took Dong Xuaner's hand away, stood between the two of them, and snorted coldly. Junior sister Dong, you are overstepping your authority. You are actually using your charm to deal with your fellow disciples. Dong Xuaner withdrew her hand, snorted coldly, and looked into Chen Tianqi's eyes, mocking her in a nebulous tone. I am just testing your husband for you. You are so ungrateful. Is it possible that someone knows that she is not attractive enough and is afraid that I will snatch her husband away? How could I be afraid of a little brat like you? Seeing Chen Tianqi and Dong Xuaner fighting against each other, Zhang Weiniang hurriedly spoke to dissuade them. Okay, stop it, you two. We are here to help Xiaoju. Not to quarrel. Then he kept glancing at Han Li, signaling him. Han Li understood and immediately said, my fellow brothers and sisters, now that everyone is here, I should also talk about the Black Evil sect. Then he talked about how he discovered the Black Evil sect and the fierce battle he had with several members of the Black Evil sect. After Han Li finished speaking, he solemnly warned everyone present. Senior brothers and sisters, this operation is extremely dangerous. The person who fought with me has mastered a secret technique that can form a blood cocoon. Once the blood cocoon is broken, it will turn into a demon and its strength will increase greatly. Then Han Li reminded everyone, therefore, please pay attention to this operation. If any member of the Black Evil sect forms a blood cocoon, you must stop him immediately, Liu Jing said with a face full of hatred for evil. Thank you, junior brother Han. We will definitely pay attention to this. We will definitely eradicate this evil and crooked way. Song Meng listened and eagerly danced with his spear. It seems that they are quite powerful, and there is someone to fight with. Chen Tianqi looked at Song Meng speechlessly, and it would be funny to see you lying on the ground after being beaten. Junior brother Han, I wonder how we can find them. Hearing Chen Tianqi speak, Han Li smiled slightly. I had already attached a tracking mark before that person escaped. Later I found out that the man had actually escaped to the palace. Then Han Li opened a map and showed it to everyone. Liu Jing looked at the red dot shining at the palace on the map and spoke angrily. I didn't expect these evil villains to dare to turn the palace into a devil's den right under the feet of our 7 sects. Then he sighed. Since this involves the royal family, it seems we need to take a long-term view. Han Li agreed and began to discuss countermeasures with everyone. Chapter 24. After some discussion, Chen Tianqi and his group were afraid that the Black Evil cult had prepared a trap, so they decided to find out the situation thoroughly. Then, Chen Tianqi and several other female monks would take Wu Zhuan and others to clean up the small fish and cannon fodder on the periphery, while Chen Tianqi and his 4 companions would go deep into the heart of the palace. 3 days later, it was night. In the cold palace deep in the palace, the lights were bright, and there were patrolling guards everywhere. As the ice demon walked, he was talking bad about Tai Luo and others with a face full of resentment, and he was left here alone, while the 3 of them were huddled together. Suddenly, there were flashes of fire in the sky, and countless rockets whizzed in. Suddenly, the patrolling guards on the field suffered heavy casualties, and the ice demon hurriedly deployed an aura shield to resist the rockets. In the air, Chen Tianqi and his companions saw that the surprise attack was successful, and they leaned down directly. Song Meng took the lead, waving his sword directly and rushing towards the ice demon. Han Li looked at this reckless man and immediately sent a message to everyone. Brothers, please make a quick decision and don't make too much noise. Liu Jing nodded and cast a spell to quickly harvest the lives of the guards. Chen Tianqi directly threw out 2 orc mechas. The 2 orc mechas with the spirit of the monster inherited the fierce characteristics of the monster, and they were extremely brutal and ruthlessly slaughtered the guards. The guards present were frightened by the brutal and cruel orc mechas. They no longer had the will to fight and fled. But the orc mechas moved very quickly, and their sharp claws took away the lives of the guards one after another. Liu Jing looked at this new type of puppet that he had never seen before, and asked with a puzzled look, "Junior brother Chen, this should be a puppet, right?" Chen Tianqi nodded. "This is a puppet that I forged by adding some of my own refining techniques." Liu Jing looked at the two puppets that looked like steel monsters and praised them sincerely. Junior brother Chen is truly a natural talent. He can even make such a unique puppet. Han Li looked at the two puppets with great power and felt extremely envious. Compared with his own puppet was simply a small karami. Song Meng chopped at the ice demon with a big sword and shouted to Chen Tianqi and the others, "Don't look at me, didn't you say we should fight quickly? I haven't finished it yet." Liu Jing saw this and immediately called Han Li to help him, leaving Chen Tianqi to deal with the remaining guards. Liu Jing and the other two continued to cooperate to besiege the enemy, and the ice demon used all his strength to resist the attack. After a while, the ice demon was covered in wounds and panting as he looked at the three people who surrounded him, his eyes red, as if he had made up his mind, and he started to yell and curse Blue Veins. Leaf Snake. Iron Luo. Oh my god, then the ice demon's magic power surged, and its body continued to swell. Oh no. He's going to self-destruct. Seeing this, Liu Jing used his magic power to try to stop him. Bang! The ice monster's body expanded to its limit and exploded directly. Suddenly, smoke and dust rolled, and a violent roar sounded. Liu Jing and the other two quickly deployed their spiritual shields to resist the impact. After the smoke and dust dissipated, Han Li said to Liu Jing and the other two with a bad face, "I didn't expect him to self-destruct. Now the noise is so loud that it has already alerted the enemy." Han Li's voice had just fallen when a burly figure with a face like a monster suddenly fell from the sky. Tai Luo looked at the burial place of the ice monster and sighed after sensing it for a moment. "I didn't expect you to self-destruct. I'm too late." Song Meng looked at Tai Luo, who was ready to make a move, and shouted, "Here comes a big guy. He's mine. Don't try to snatch him away." Tai Luo ignored Song Meng, but looked at Han Li fiercely, and said, "Boy, take revenge for yesterday's broken arm and today's killing of my fellow disciples." Seeing Tai Luo ignoring him, Song Meng showed an unhappy expression on his face and directly stabbed Tai Luo with his sword. Tai Luo raised his hand to knock the sword back. Seeing that his body was so strong, Liu Jing turned around and spoke to Han Li and the others. "This man's strength should not be underestimated. Let's attack together and make a quick decision." The three of them quickly surrounded him and started a righteous beating. After a short fight, Han Li and Song Meng continued to restrain Tai Luo, while Liu Jing was brewing a spell in the air, ready to kill with one blow. Suddenly, a black shadow attacked Liu Jing, and Liu Jing quickly gave up the half-brewing spell and turned to avoid it. The black shadow attacked Liu Jing relentlessly, and then a huge figure fell from the sky, and a metallic orc mecha blocked Liu Jing's way, and one claw slapped the black shadow into the house. "Senior brother Liu, I'm here to help you." Chen Tianqi gave the puppets a command with his spiritual sense, and two orc mecha puppets immediately rushed into the house. In a short while, the house collapsed, and three figures rushed out of it. Two orc mechas surrounded the figure in the middle, blocking his way. Chen Tianqi took a closer look and found that it was Yesh, one of the four blood servants. Seeing Yesh, who had arrived at the battlefield, King Wen must be hiding in the dark. He immediately sent a message to everyone. "Everyone be careful. There is another person hiding in the dark." Han Li and Song Meng were constantly fighting with Tai Luo. Just as they heard Chen Tianqi's voice transmission, a wave of magic power came from behind Han Li. Han Li quickly turned around and summoned a shield to block in front of him, but was still knocked out. When Song Meng saw Han Li being hit, he immediately summoned the Lingfang spear, attacked Tai Luo to repel him, and flew over to catch Han Li. The person who attacked was Qing Wen. Qing Wen looked at Han Li and spoke with cold eyes. "Fellow Taoist Han, how are you? I never thought that the useless pseudo-spiritual root from the past would actually join the Yellow Maple Valley and reach the middle stage of foundation building." Han Li was helped up by Song Meng and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. "It turned out to be you. I guess you have been luring independent cultivators for the Black Evil sect before." King Wen looked at Han Li with hatred and murderous intent. "Stop talking nonsense. The hatred for murdering one's wife is irreconcilable. It's just right that we can settle the vengeance of Taoist one Shaoshan at the same time." Han Li summoned his flying sword. Tai Luo, who was standing by, flew over and turned to curse at Qing Wen. "Tell him you are a bitch. You came so late and still talk so much nonsense. Get out of here." After saying that, Tai Luo rushed towards Han Li and the other two, followed by Qing Wen, and the four of them started a fierce battle. Chen Tianqi saw Han Li's side fighting, and sent a voice message to Liu Jing, "Senior brother Liu, go help Han Li and the others, and leave this person to me." Liu Jing saw that Yishi was beaten by two orc mechas without any ability to fight back, and nodded immediately, and flew to Han Li to join the battle. Chen Tianqi looked at Yishi, then took out another mecha from the storage bag and threw it over. Yishi was dodging the attacks of two orc mechas in a panic. At first, he thought that these two steel monsters were some special monsters or spiritual pets, but he found that his corpse poison was completely ineffective. After hitting them a few times, he found that this was just a metal puppet. Yishi turned over to avoid the fatal blow of a mecha, and just when he got up, he saw Chen Tianqi throwing another puppet over, and he cursed in his heart. Immediately, three orc mechas of the same model launched a fierce attack on Yishi. Yishi was unable to dodge, and was directly pierced in the shoulder by the tail thorn of the mecha, and was thrown out fiercely. Chapter 25. After the leaf snake was thrown out, the orc mecha followed closely, stepped out its sharp claws and stomped down hard. Seeing this, the leaf snake quickly turned over, and the sharp claws of another orc mecha whizzed from behind him. The leaf snake dodged to the right in panic, but was still scratched, and one arm flew high. The leaf snake knelt on one knee, covering his broken arm, panting, staring at the two puppets in front with red eyes. When he found that one was missing, his hair stood up immediately. Just as he was about to turn around to resist the attack, he was pierced through the body by a long tail thorn. The owner of the tail thorn gradually emerged from the invisible state. Chen Tianqi watched his three mecha puppets cooperate tacitly to kill the enemy, and nodded with satisfaction. When he made these puppets, he deliberately incorporated the skin of the monster yin kiting into them. Its skin can not only change color with the environment like a chameleon, but also imitate the surrounding texture and light and shadow in an instant, achieving a nearly perfect invisible effect. When Tai Luo saw the leaf snake being killed, he immediately shouted to King Wen, "Hurry up and transform yourself into a demon. I will stop them for you." Qing Wen immediately chanted a spell after hearing this. A burst of bloodlight gushed out of his body, and he turned into a beating blood cocoon. Han Li and the other two saw this and quickly used their magical powers to attack the blood cocoon. But Tai Luo directly blocked the blood cocoon with his body, and then Tai Luo rushed towards Han Li and the other two and started fighting with him. Chen Tianqi commanded the orc mecha to help Han Li and the other two, while he secretly came behind the blood cocoon. Chen Tianqi looked at the blood cocoon that was beating like a heart, and took out a flying sword from the storage bag and pierced it directly into the blood cocoon. Tai Luo also discovered Chen Tianqi at this time and wanted to go forward. He tried to stop them, but was stopped by three orc mechas. Han Li and the other two also surrounded him from behind. After Chen Tianqi saw the flying sword pierce into the blood cocoon, it directly activated the energy core and self-destructed the magic weapon. Boom! A violent explosion followed, and the blue veins in the blood cocoon turned into ashes. Tai Luo saw that the blue veins had turned into slag, and he was terrified and wanted to escape, but he had been surrounded. After a while, he died in hatred under the righteous beating of 7 against 1. After the battle, Song Meng put away the Lingfang gun, looked at the tall and burly steel monsters, walked over and patted Chen Tianqi on the shoulder. "Junior brother Chen, I didn't realize that you are not only a master of refining weapons, but also a master of puppets. The puppets you made are so domineering and powerful." Chen Tianqi smiled and said modestly, "It's not worth mentioning. This puppet is also inspired by my own weapon refining techniques. In the final analysis, it is just a kind of weapon refining. Don't be modest, junior brother Chen, make me one like this one someday to play with." Chen Tianqi and Song Meng were playing with water when they suddenly felt their trouser legs being pulled. They turned around and saw 3 orc mechas sitting on the ground like puppies, wagging their tails wildly, with 2 golden and blue balls in front of them. Chen Tianqi's eyes twitched when he saw this scene. He remembered that he had integrated 3 wolf spirits, not drug spirits. Song Meng and others laughed when they saw this scene, and they all felt that Chen Tianqi's puppets were so interesting. Then Chen Tianqi picked up the ball brought by his own puppet and found that it was the blood coagulation 5 elements pill. He immediately handed it to Han Li and the others to see. "Look at these 2 pills, they were found by the puppet from the 2 blood servants who turned into ashes." Song Meng was surprised when he saw it. "Is this a demon pill?" I have only heard of demon pills and demon beasts, but never heard of demon pills in humans. Liu Jing looked at the two blood-coagulating 5-element pills and said it may be that their secret method is special, which gave birth to something similar to the demon pill. Han Li's eyes flashed with a gleam of light. He knew in his heart that this was the blood-condensing 5-element pill that could become a fake pill for cultivators, and he was hesitating whether to say it out. Chen Tianqi saw the change in Han Li's face and was ready to play a trick on him. I think junior brother Han seems to know what this is. Han Li's face showed a trace of embarrassment after hearing Chen Tianqi's voice, as if his secret had been exposed. He then adjusted his facial expression and spoke with a slightly hesitant look. I'm not sure if it's that kind of thing. Junior brother Han, what are you worried about? Just tell me. So many people are here. Song Meng patted Han Li on the back. Well, I saw something called blood coagulation 5 elements pill in an ancient book I accidentally got before. It is a pill that can make cultivators in the late stage of foundation building directly become fake pill cultivators, but their cultivation will be stagnant forever. And blood coagulation 5 elements pill can only be produced by people who practice special skills. After thinking for a moment, Liu Jing said to the few people, this thing is very likely to be just as junior brother Han said. Let's see if the remaining 2 blood servants have this kind of demon pill in their bodies. After hearing Liu Jing's words, Song Meng directly cut open Tai Luo's body, reached in and dug a little. Then a look of surprise appeared on his face. Senior brother Liu, there really is a demon pill. Another one was also brought over by Chen Tianqi's puppet. Chen Tianqi looked at the dog-like orc mecha. His face fell, and he was very speechless. He immediately put them into the storage bag. Then Chen Tianqi and his party looked at the 4 kinds of demon pills floating in front of them, each showing a different color. Liu Jing looked at the demon pills of different colors in front of him, and a light flashed in his mind. It seems that it is indeed the blood condensation 5 elements pill that junior brother Han mentioned. The leader of the Black Evil sect is probably using these 4 blood servants to make pills. When the time is right, kill them all in one fell swoop to take the pills, and then become a giant and cultivator. Then Liu Jing seemed to be moved by the scene, his face full of resentment. Fortunately, we arrived here in time, otherwise, when this evil villain successfully advances to the giant stage, who knows how many people will be killed by him. Song Meng saw what Liu Jing was recalling, and immediately stepped forward to comfort him. Senior brother Liu, don't be angry. Let's quickly get rid of this Black Evil sect leader. Liu Jing took a deep breath, adjusted his mood, and said to Chen Tianqi and others. Junior brother Song is right. Our top priority is to find the leader of the Black Evil cult. As for these blood coagulation 5 elements pills, give them to junior brother Chen. After all, junior brother Chen killed most of the people. Chen Tianqi immediately refused because it was useless for him to take this thing. Senior brother Liu, thank you for the compliment. Everyone present has contributed. Of course, each person will receive 1 blood coagulation 5 elements pill. Moreover, this blood coagulation 5 elements pill is the key to the Black Evil sect leader's pill formation. It is better to give 1 to each person so that he will not be able to take it away. After hearing this, Liu Jing also thought it made sense, and then distributed 3 blood coagulation 5 elements pills to Chen Tianqi and the other 2. After Chen Tianqi and his party distributed the blood coagulation 5 elements pills, they walked deep into the cold palace and found a secret passage underneath. Song Meng sacrificed the Lingfang spear and walked in front, Liu Jing and Han Li walked in the middle, and Chen Tianqi walked behind, and took out an orc mecha from the storage bag and let it follow behind him in stealth. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.